city. And Dave, I'm ready. We're 30 seconds in because I had some issues behind the scenes, but everything's looking snazzy. And we have Evilo, who, was that a misplaced barracks at the start?
It was a barracks. I was paused at the start of this game, and he accidentally built a barracks there.
What? That's
So
a little
weird.
weird. Did he think he picked
Yeah.
Lithuanians or something? But anyways, Evilo here playing in the red has chosen the Berbers for game one, and John the Fearless has chosen the Mayans, and immediately my mind comes to every game we saw from John. It is just sit back, make archers, wall and boom. John has been the best player with that in this tournament.
And he sent his eagle forward really early to try and find the enemy, maybe try and find some boars, but he didn't see anything. He saw neutral stone, so he has to assume that the enemy is most likely to the left of that. I can't see them being that close on the right.
I think sometimes you run forward, and then you think, oh, shoot, if I didn't find my stuff yet, this is a risk. So he's actually coming home, and Vilo's also coming forward to try and find some enemy resources. He actually just passed the sheep there, Dave. Very close to finding the sheep. So unfortunate for Vilo, and fortunate for John, at least, that John will have the resources for now.
When I'm looking at the maps here, for a defensive style of player, it's actually kind of plays into John the Fearless's hand a little bit. I mean, his berries are back. He's got 2 back wood lines.
Yeah.
The gold is in an open area, but at least it's kind of to the side, right? It's not at the front. His only real concern is that stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as you can see there on your screens, Evilo comes in here as the only undefeated player. That said, since it's hidden seeding, random seeding and hidden names, you never really know who players are up against. And I think it was fairly obvious that John the Fearless had much tougher tests in the early rounds.
And Avilo's going to find those 2 sheep at the back. He's going to bring those back, and John the Fearless still hasn't found those 2 sheep forward.
So John looking over here, and if those sheep hug the edge of the map, Dave, I could definitely see them not being found, even if they hide in the corner.
Avilo's going to find all 4. He's going to find those other 2 as he comes across the map with the scout, or
Is he,
likely
though?
find them. Oh, God.
You're joking me. He's
No
going to go
way.
home now. What is that little... Well, I guess it's safe to assume that the enemy would have them by now, but that's funny. Maybe John the Fearless will find them. That could end up being a really big deal.
Did you see how Avilo sent them to the corner, and now he's going to hug the edge of the map and bring those 2 sheep back? Very, very sneaky.
Sneaky. Hey, I should have said this at the start of the series because I want to make sure everyone in the community, and that means everyone on YouTube, knows that I appreciate them. Thanks for all the hype again, everyone. The VODs and the videos for Hidden Cup 3 and all the Hidden Cups have just been amazing over the years. And so I do just want to say, wherever you're at, whether you're watching a rerun now or you're watching the videos, appreciate it. And it's awesome to have everyone involved. But yeah, Dave, I just, back to the civilizations here. I don't like Berbers compared to Mayans for Arabia. I think that Mayans are the superior civ. And so from a Vilo's perspective, he could see this as a situation to have a big confidence boost if he gets the win. Win, but then win against the Mayans.
John the Fearless once again garrisoning 4 villagers and shooting the boar 3 times.
We don't even need to investigate the boars at this point. That's 100% Hera. Like, I will die on that hill. I would be so surprised. I think the only thing is maybe it's Leary. One of those 2, but I'm 97.1% sure this would be Hera, who actually tweeted, like, a day 1 when I played that boar video. He's like, 2 sets into Hidden Cup, and T90 already thinks he's got me figured out. But then we get into John the Fearless's games, and he's doing the 4 villager trick, so I wasn't too far off. You just got to stop making farms, Hera, and then we won't be able to guess you.
It's not only the boar, though. It's just the general, like, solid defensive style of play.
Yeah.
He's probably the best defensive player in the game.
And I think...
He's so good at it now.
Like, remember, this could be the Viper versus Hera. And I think that it would be such a crazy story for John the Fearless to make it to the finals. And imagine if John the Fearless wins. You go through who are probably 2 incredible players the first 2 rounds. Then Avilo, who was undefeated before the semi. Then the final. I mean, what? It'd be a crazy path. But getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, we do have Avilo with a barracks. And if
And John's
Ilo...
going to spot that with the
Yep.
flags on, so he knows exactly what Avilo is going for.
Look at the walls, dude. Just like we said. Wall, 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 wall. There's even been wall nerfs, and Neely and I were talking about how that's changed their meta, but it changed for some, not so much for others, I suppose.
Yeah, and Avilo didn't see the barracks from John the Fearless.
Okay. Well, John is tracking this, which is a pretty big deal. I think Avilo's eco is going to be pretty good. Also walling up behind on the left side, Dave. And it will probably just be one range follow-up for both players. And John the Fearless playing defensive. And actually just is going to let him in here? What? Hello?
So John's just going for 3 militia as a defensive maneuver.
Yeah.
He didn't go out to gold.
What? He didn't go gold? Oh, no, he's on gold. John's on the back gold. That makes sense.
On
Yeah.
the back gold. Okay. I was looking at the main one.
But this is weird to me. How he's like, he had the walls there. For me, I think a lot of players would probably go full wall and then send their army forward. But he's just sitting back here, Dave. And this is some crazy pressure. And perhaps what you expect if it is someone like the Viper versus Hera. Viper being more aggressive, Hera more defensive into archers. And big moment here. And reaction from both.
Yeah, it looks like a decent engagement there from Avilo.
Yeah.
Initially, his scout does have almost full HP. He's going to clear up that final men-at-arm and chase the eagle away. So he's going to have some pressure, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Just enough to be annoying.
The big thing here is that his scout has a lot of HP. Because if John ever wants to make skirms now, he's got to think twice about it. But yeah, it's annoying. It's not going to kill anything. Everything will add up a little bit. And now you've got one range on the front for Avilo. And a blacksmith behind it, which is a little oddly placed and very open. I mean, Avilo really needs to make sure that John the Fearless does not go for some sneaky raid at some point with archers, because he is very open on that top side.
Is that auto scout from Avilo right now?
No way. You can't auto scout at this stage, right?
Maybe. Maybe not.
No, I think he's going to try and see what the enemy's doing.
Yeah.
But he's probably just going to pressure the other side, and John is going to send the eagle out here, which is very weak, and that's immediately spotted. So good call from Avilo to switch sides, Dave. And now the eagle just runs back home again.
And the wall is open. Oh my goodness, the wall is open. If he can hold that with the scout.
Oh my
he's gonna
God.
block it. He's going to block the foundations with the scout, and the archers are right behind. John the Fearless has to panic wall to the TC, but that house is super weak, and the archers are going to get through there.
Is this the Hidden Cup 3 finals? Mayans game 1 from one player, or passive play and aggression from the other? It feels like the Hidden Cup 3 finals. It's a repeat. And what a situation to be in if you're Avilo, man. The amount of pressure he's put down is crazy.
That was a good reaction, though. After the archers got in, the initial reaction to wall to the TC, and then realizing your house is low HP, so you can't really sustain that one, make a few more to the wood line. He's kept himself alive here, Tristan. He hasn't lost a villager yet.
I know, and that's the impressive thing about John the Fearless's play throughout this whole tournament. And if you look at the situation, he's just been going greedy with eco. He's got the farm numbers, he's got the food count. And honestly, if this gets to a certain point, he might even try and make a house and trap this army in here. But we see skirms coming in. And John just sitting at home. And I guess this is why Avilo didn't feel the need to go crazy for the walls, Dave.
Yeah, he's got this forward pressure, so he's just gonna slowly wall behind with houses.
Yeah.
It'll be more secure in the end, and
well,
I think he knows that he's realistically not going to do much damage.
I actually think he can, though, because that house foundation's about to go down here. So here...
More villagers coming out, though.
Oh, good micro there from John, though. Good micro from John. He picks off the scout, and he picked off an archer. And now the units are in, but it's just more and more defensive houses. And at our micro, I guess this is idle time for John, and Avilo is underneath the TC with a few units.
Do you go back here if you're Avilo, or you just continue to sit in this position?
You just continue to sit. How can you argue with these results, I think? Like, most players are just going to sit back, and a lot of players get punished by the greed. But I think you are happy at least to be delaying some farms. You're happy that the archers aren't running forward towards you. You feel some sense of urgency to maybe wall at home in case there is a sneak, but okay. He wants to see if there's anything in that range there. And now he just sees one archer there, and he actually might be worried that the archers that are actually in John's TC might be heading towards his base.
all those houses, and John was still host.
Oh my god, MVL confirmed. How does that happen? Yeah. But isn't it just incredible how little Evilo invested and how much pressure he was able to dish out? It's just so impressive.
Yeah, taking those little advantages, right? Just John the Fearless wanted to get his eagle out. He deleted a part of his wall, and then Evilo with the presence of mind to keep the scout there and to deny the villagers from building anything behind it.
But like,
and they're both up to the castle age at the same moment. Oh my god.
Like, that's the flip side of it. The flip side of that same situation is that Evilo invested so little and quote unquote did a lot, but 0 kills, 0 deaths with the eco. And now John the Fearless is up anyways and going to add the second archery range and continue to go into archers. So it is really impressive. I think the question marks you have if you're Evilo is, first off, where are the archers? And second, do I go knights or do I go skirms? He's got 1 stable already, and he's just got 1 range. He has not seen a second barracks or a second range from John, and that's very important. He needs to confirm what John is going to do here.
If you're Evilo, did you just double down and make double palisade walls along some of these areas? Like, use 1 villager and double palisade the right, double palisade the left, and then you have so many wood lines and resources secure within your base.
Well, he's kind of doing it with houses. But there's almost, like, the way that you talked about it earlier. John's base is so much better, I feel, because it's so close to the edge of the map. So I don't think, as Evilo sees the ranges now and will just sit on the farms, I don't think you really can justify double palisades everywhere. But he is going to add a second layer on the left. So there you go.
Okay, second stable too for him. So no surprise, the Berber player is going to go into some cavalry.
Yep.
And +2 right away. And here comes the villager forward. Has to keep pressure on John the Fearless's base until the siege workshop goes up.
David, it's just exactly what we expected going into this. Now you have defensive TCs for John. So John's just going to stay at home. He's going to boom. He actually is going to send his archers out. He's going to try and sneak here. But Knight Siege could absolutely dominate John the Fearless's eco. It's just, can John the Fearless get pressure in before the Knights and Siege get out here?
With +2, I think if Evilo gets, 4 Knights is close enough to kill this, right? If John doesn't have a good spot.
+2's already in here, Dave. I think 4 Knights is a little low, personally. I think that you would want 6 to 8. But let's see. And yeah, you're going to have Evilo back away from this.
Good. Micro's too good.
But the Maganel will be here soon, so let's see if that statement holds true. Look at that. He sees the siege workshop and says, I'm out of here. And he's just going to run home, and he's just going to boom it out, man. But, like, again, I'll just restate this. The style that John the Fearless has can be punished, and we've seen it in some situations. The problem is it can only be punished by a few players in the game.
Where do you push here if you're a Evilo? By the way, I love those houses from John the Fearless on the right side.
Yeah.
Like, if Evilo is going to go for a Mangonel push from that angle, those houses are going to be so annoying to him.
The middle area is more than fine here, I think.
Yeah. Middle
area is more than fine. You probably want to push the TCs. Attack round from Evilo. Okay. You got that crossbow. And, you know, the tough thing here is there's a barracks there. John could always sneak out an eagle to take out the mango. And economically, it's really hard to catch up while going for so much pressure if you're Evilo. So I think the MO for John is continue to mass archers and get to a big ball. Eventually take one good fight in defense, and then your eco is paid off, and then you win the game. And look at that. Out of the TC, Dave. And was trying it right there to take out the Mangonels with his crossbows.
Yeah, kind of unexpected. Maybe Evilo thought there were villagers garrisoned in there.
Yeah.
Some mobility with the crossbows. Garrisoning and ungarrisoning from that TC. But still the Mangonels pressuring and not really anything to deal with them as of yet. John the Fearless going for a siege workshop of his own and trying to get some picks, but also trying not to get too close.
Yeah.
The shots.
The absolute balls, though, to only now make your defensive siege workshop. It's sickening. And it might end up hurting him.
It might backfire.
Yeah.
He could deny this.
Or just delay it, because you're going to have more units on the way. He just goes for farms, man, so he can eventually get Imp and Arbalest. Siege Workshop will go up, Dave, no question. And now we'll see if that balance pays off. I mean, in theory, you could see a Mangonel get a trade here. And then if Knights ever dive, there's 2, soon 3 monks to get conversions. This could easily swing for John the Fearless as he pops out.
Yeah, he pops out again, trying to do that, and he pops back in right as the shot comes along. All this action, Tristan, and the KD is 7-5.
Yeah. And the delete from John the Fearless, but he failed it. It's these fancy tricks, man. The defensive play, all these things that John the Fearless is known for, and it's hurting him a little bit here. And it's only because of Vilo is equal to these movements.
I'm so impressed by this constant popping in and out of the TC, attempting to snipe the Mangonels from a Vilo, and I'm really surprised that we haven't seen any follow-up Mangonels from him, just now making a third one.
I think it's tough to go 3 TC eco with it, Dave. So maybe if Vilo's trying to find that balance there so he doesn't fall behind economically. As you see the micro, and again, good micro, and there's a good shot again from a Vilo. Like, Vilo's getting the better of these engagements.
These are two of the best players in the world. We suspected it might be Viper and Hera, and they're certainly, if not confirming it, they're helping us out a little bit with this impressive gameplay.
Everyone who didn't see a Vilo play before and voted for Admiral to be the Viper earlier is like, what was I doing? I'm with you here. But like, historically, if it's those two players, Viper has always had Hera's number in big tournaments. Hera maybe did get past Leary, we think, which is also someone else that has given him problems. And those are really the only 2 names that have come to mind as you see the crossbow trick again here, Dave. And the crossbow's backing away again. I think you need to start seeing a little bit more from a Vilo here. And here we see it. Mangonel's engaging. The repair is perfect every time.
Yeah, maybe want to snag that villager if you can at some point. Also, John the Fearless almost has enough for a castle. We see a Vilo coming in with the Knights. He's going to pick off a Mangonel and then retreat.
Yeah.
Neither player wants to commit here. Both players are just kind of hanging out in this area, and there's the castle.
Oh, that shot, dude! That was an attack round, and this castle might never go up, Dave. That was such a sick attack round. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the level here is unreal, and here we go. The Knights are diving.
Yeah, and the crossbows are in a precarious position. They're kind of trapped back there. Villagers going down to the Mangonels, and the shots are coming in.
Absolute domination. Absolute domination. The crossbows are gone. The castle's denied. Villagers are idle within every TC. Vilo just owned him, dude. And after watching John the Fearless own everybody else with this play, I cannot help but just be in shock.
That escalated so quickly.
That said,
the castle's gonna go up.
The castle could go up.
Maybe? Question mark?
Big question mark, Dave. I mean, what happens if the castle goes up at this point, right? He still has the villagers, but he doesn't have any counterattack. Another TC to try and catch up economically, but...
And he's hitting the gold at the back for John the Fearless.
This is a
John
game
the Fearless
over.
has to move all of those villagers. He's frantically putting down archery ranges. He's getting ballistics upgrade now. He's trying to complete the castle, but that's not happening. The Berbers pick, he's just crushing him right now.
I have to restate this. The way John the Fearless played this was so good. It was so unbelievably good. And we saw him get to this point with that style of play. And Avilo said, I don't even care. Like, that is just... Mayans is the better civilization. That style, it suits John the Fearless. It suits Mayans. And that was just unreal, Dave. Jeez.
And the quality, like... The cool thing there is that the quality was obviously there for John the Fearless. It's not like he was having a bad game.
Yeah.
Avilo just outplayed him in that instance.
Now, I think 2 years ago when I was casting, I would say, do you think maybe John the Fearless needs to change his style, blah, blah, blah. But as someone who's been doing this for a while, I think that it's actually important for John the Fearless to stick to his game plan because I don't think he could ever do what Avilo just did, but I don't necessarily think Avilo can play the way John the Fearless plays. So it's just a clash of styles, and we have a long set, so don't get too excited, ladies and gents. I'll go through the statistics real quick just to show where we were at before the action started. Massive drop off there on the timeline. But, lots of stone banked up to build the defensive castle for John. He had the crossbow numbers for a bit, Dave. The food eco and gold eco understandably higher for the player going for knights.
I don't think I've ever seen a game that seems so even go to absolute domination within that short of a time frame before.
But I'd say the thing here is, if John the Fearless is who we think he is, he's been here before. He's been down this road. He's lost some games before, and I think that the mental strength is going to be there to be able to say, forget about it. Wow, he played really well, but it's fine. We're going to go to the home maps now. So, I'm a little shocked, but we have to continue here. And unlike 1999, it's not a best of one in any of these sets. It actually was. It will be cross Dave. We'll hop into game 2. It will be Huns versus Byzantines. Civs that we have seen many times on this map before.
Yeah, we saw this very matchup between Admiral and Warwolf, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Warwolf was playing as the Huns and Admiral was playing as the Byzantines, and he got a really good start with the Byzantines, but then the Huns player kind of snowballed it to victory. So maybe we see something a little bit similar here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Avilo's base with the Huns, and it's a typical Hunnic style base. Very, very open.
Yeah, very open. And I think this is a 50-50 Civ matchup the more I think about it. I would prefer Huns personally, but in certain stages, Huns can do absolutely nothing against Byzantines. It's probably the best way to say it. And I think John the Fearless is going to recognize that. So John the Fearless has picked a map which will change the way he has to play this compared to Game 1 Arabia. On land maps with Archer Civs, you tend to see more defense, but I think here you expanded the pawns. You field as many units as possible because it's cheap with the Byzantines.
They're quite close to each other, too.
Yeah.
It's like there's not a huge distance, which may favor the Hun player.
I think one thing that we should touch on is the early scouting again. Since they're so close together, are they finding where the enemy is? Are they confirming or denying enemy choosing various things? And then also the docks. And the difference between the styles I've seen with these civs is the Byzantine player likes to wall and go for dock control of all the pawns, and the Hun player will usually play into scouts for map control to deny the pawns.
Yeah, I think Avilo is going to go for that pawn to the left most likely, and then John the Fearless probably going to the one to the right.
Yeah.
So they'll be fairly close to their base. Not much opportunity for the scouts to snipe the dock villager like we saw earlier today, and we saw how much of an impact that makes too.
Imagine... So these semifinals, just to clarify on how Hidden Cup's played, basically all the games are played behind closed doors. Players can't share their identities, obviously. And what the beauty of it is, you don't know who you're up against, and you can't even really see the way your upcoming opponent has played previous rounds, which is what happened in the early rounds. These semifinals that we're casting now actually were being played during the quarterfinals yesterday, and of course have not been seen. The final is live. So, hello to Admiral. Salutes in chat to Admiral. Admiral's sitting there like, okay, whoever wins this best of 7 will be a very tough task to beat in that final. But that final will be coming up later after this.
And docks going down for both players, very smartly walling their villagers in. It used to be you could tell players' tournament experience by whether they walled in their dock villager.
Yeah.
But it seems like everyone has picked up on that now.
Yeah, a couple years ago, the things that we freak out about now, we'd just be like, oh, that happens. Okay, a villager went down. This happened. But now, one small mistake will snowball so hard on you. And when you get to the top, it's just so beautiful the way it develops.
Ooh, John the Fearless making a beeline for Avilo's TC right now.
That is going to hurt. Oh, but he saw the straggler. Bit diagonal might help here, Dave. And oh, no. Ouch. I mean, having that weak scout actually means that in Feudal Age, he cannot fight a villager 1v1 on any of those pawns out there. So that's a big deal. And actually, as I say that, you actually see Avilo send the villager without loom away because he knows I'll never lose this villager now. You think he's going to make an outpost over here, Dave, just in case John the Fearless tries to sneak?
He might make a second dock here.
Okay.
I've seen that with some players. They like to place 2 docks on one pond, kind of oversaturate that fish early.
Okay. I haven't seen it too frequently, but I think an issue with trying to go to too many docks too early is if you're investing into another dock and you don't get an immediate fish boost, you're going to end up regretting that. I see the style here for John the Fearless. It's just 1 dock at home. Already
And
some
the
walls on
walls.
the side. Yep.
That's so early for those walls, isn't it?
I actually think it's perfect here just because now you don't have a strong scout. So if you wait when the enemy's up to the next agent, wait a second, is this a double dock fast castle play for Avilo?
It might be. Maybe he doesn't even want to pressure the ponds in the north or the south, or the one he knows that John the Fearless has control over. He just wants to control his own little water area, use that to go up to Castle Age.
Shades of the Islands game from Avilo, where he went for a greedy fish boom. So 2 docks, not going fast feudal, which is the meta. And you know, the more I think about this, the way John the Fearless might play is he might not even make a barracks. He might not punish on land at all. It's so smart what Avilo's doing here. Like, John the Fearless is basically playing the meta here, Dave. And Avilo is playing against that known meta.
So Vilo is scouting the gold. He saw 2 villagers coming out to that. Whether he noticed that is another question.
Okay, so he sees the gold. I mean, I think Avilo is going to be thinking, well, great, he's going to try and make docks on the
Look,
ponds.
he's hanging out so he can see how many villagers are going there.
Yeah. Okay, in about a couple seconds, John will be completely walled. So, as someone in Twitch chat just said, it's John not that fearless, as he's a little scared of pressure that might come in for the second straight game. And we see a dock in the north for John. And I think the thought process is probably to make fire galleys, but there's nothing over there, Dave.
Avilo also spotted that wall in like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
In John the Fearless's base. So that probably tells him that John the Fearless is going for something like this. Huge walls along the outside, along those wood lines. So that means that he's going to be relatively safe at home. And now he's going for some walls of his own.
I think that John's got to be a little worried here as you see Avilo spot this dock. But when you see the opposition isn't up to feudal yet, you probably know something weird is going on here. But I will say it doesn't look like the resources are going to be there to go immediately up to the Castle Age for Avilo.
I see. Going to go for... He goes for an archery range.
Okay, with a quick gate or house, that scout could be trapped. I've seen enough of these 2 play that I know that could happen if John pays attention here. Okay, never mind. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Archery range.
Double
archery range.
Oh, he deleted the range and is going for the blacksmith because he knows he needs that. Okay.
That was really satisfying. As it was being deleted, the blacksmith goes on exactly the same tile. Well done, Avilo.
So, guys, at some point, the fish here is going to run out. So I think the way that Avilo is playing this is rather short-term to get a big lead. And if you're not contesting the pond of John in the back, which is not possible because of the walls, and you're not fighting for the pond in the north, I could easily see John long-term being in a better position as he's simply adding spearmen right now.
Stable now from Avilo. So 1 archer range, 1 stable. Byzantines not able to click up right away.
This has got to be Cav Archers, right? This has got to be Cav Archer play for Avilo. Just add the stable or a scout or 2. Yeah, look at this. He's prepping the ranges already. He's going to click up to Castle Age and go straight into tons of Cav Archers. See a gate. Okay, John the Fearless is... I know his name is John the Fearless. I know we've got kids watching, so I'll use a different word, but he's going to be pooping himself if he sees this. Like, oh my god, dude. 3 ranges on the front, and you haven't clicked up yet. Ah! Terrifying.
Well, he has to suspect it from Huns, right?
Yeah.
Like, if he's not battling on the water, what else are they really going to do? As Avilo has gone to the south and is making a dock there, so he's going to have control over 2 ponds. John the Fearless is going to have control over 2 ponds. And what does John the Fearless do in the middle to combat the Cav Archers?
Well, you say control, and there's no way for Avilo to protect this area because John is wisely sending a Vil here. Now, granted, I think Avilo will notice that and will just cancel the fishing ship and add a galley. But I don't think the galley denies that dock, Dave. So Byzantine should have the edge in the south. But yeah, I just don't... It honestly feels like a spot where John the Fearless might even need to consider some stone walls because the Cav Archers are going to come hot and heavy here, and 3-range production means there will be plenty in no time for Avilo.
And we're seeing why players don't really like to oversaturate pawns. The fish is almost gone on the left side.
Yeah. So he's got about 300 food. I think this strategy is risky and a little questionable for Avilo. But the risk could very well pay off here in the next couple minutes.
Ooh, John the Fearless is going for a fishing ship down south. He doesn't know that there's a dock there. All he saw was the scout.
No way. Oh, he doesn't have the scouting down, Dave. I mean, he's got a scout around, but it's just staying close to the spear because he's a little, I think, frightened of this as he's prepping another layer of walls. So we've seen this before, except this time the house walls should probably go down. And he's Byzantine, so his buildings have more HP. And he's actually teching into what will be Elite Skirm, which is a good call for John.
Yeah, it seems like the play. The scout discovers the monastery at the front from Avilo. So he's going to see that. And Avilo sends the villager forward now.
Oh my god, dude. No, I think he's going to cancel the monastery. So he just scouted the ranges and knows it's Elite Skirm, so he's going to add Mangonels now. That's just great scouting from Avilo. So at this point, he's scouted the dock in the south. He's going to probably contest water there. And then he's also scouted that Elite Skirm will come in. And so he seems to really know.
So many tiny little adjustments from both of these players so far on this game.
Now, that scout should have also spotted the Siege Workshop, too. So he knows the Siege Workshop is there. And so now, I hate to say these words again, but it's defense and booming. It's just got to be defense and booming here for John. You can't push out with this comp.
No, especially not against Huns, and he's going to lose all 3 of those fishing ships he made in the south.
Yeah. But is Avilo going to switch into fish traps or something here? Because I'm looking at these fishing ships. They're soon all going to be idle, Dave. There's 10 of them there. That's huge.
And we're getting the War Galley upgrade for John the Fearless, so he's going to contest that area. The pond in the south. He can't really contest the other one on the left side. I mean, what's the point anyway? There's no fish left.
You know, I like John's position a little bit more here. He has Elite Skirms for now. He's diversified a bit more. He's investing into water, so he should win the south in theory. I really think that Avilo's fast Cav Archers haven't done what Avilo was hoping to do at the start of this game with that greedy play.
And you were talking about investing into the fish traps. That's going to be a lot of wood that you can't put into Cav Archers and Mangonels.
The thing is, if you're not pre-planning for it, it hits you and you're like, oh no, I have 10 idols.
Yep.
And at that point, you were planning on using your wood for other things.
It's like every time I don't get horse collar. It always hits me at the same time. Maraca sound or whatever that is.
That was pretty good, Dave. The villager's not going down there, and only 3-0 Eco KD in this game so far, as we see 3 TCs behind this for John. But, like, okay, economically, the fishing runs out. But what is John doing to threaten Avilo? That's the big problem. Nothing.
Nothing. He did get ballistics, so if the Cav Archers engage without the Mangonel nearby, should be okay. But the problem with skirmishers is that they're going to really struggle to do decent damage against that Mangonel.
Yeah, and the Mangonel getting a good shot there. Getting a kill. Do you ever notice how some of the units, when they get hit, they're just like, you know, like they brace themselves for it?
That's what I would do.
Yeah, but it's like, it almost sounds like a name that's a noise that someone would make if they didn't die. So I don't know if that's the unit getting hit or what. As nice split micro here from John. There's no repair villager here for Avilo. And John's showing what he's capable of, and so is Avilo, though. Beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing from Avilo. John the Fearless has ballistics, by the way, and he just dodged 2 consecutive shots.
Should we be surprised that despite all this, John the Fearless has only lost 3 eco units in this game?
No. And those 3 eco units were the 3 fishing ships he made at the south.
It's
and
stupid.
He only lost them because he didn't scout properly.
It's honest. It's stupid how easy he makes defense look. What do they say? Defense wins championships, I guess. I don't know if that applies here, but I guess fish will also run out soon for John the Fearless. So I suppose in theory, if like he didn't plan for it while he's under pressure, Could also be a big problem for him.
Bit of a late Siege Workshop. Again, second game in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit late with the Siege Workshop placement.
There's
But
going to
no
be
forward
3
repair
mangoes in a
villager.
second here.
For Avilo this time, so if he manages to take that mangonel down, he cannot repair it with villager.
Again, it feels like things would have been okay if he had a few mangonels a bit earlier, Dave. I mean, look at the micro here. Beautiful micro as he takes out a mangonel. The other one's very weak. I would love to see Avilo bring in a repair villager, and the Siege Workshop does finish. And look at this micro from John the Fearless.
He is fearless.
He really is. And how can you blame him, Dave? Well, okay, maybe he should have a bit more fear in him, but behind this 3 TCs for Avilo at home, he's just now adding them, so he's behind in vills. I think, again, as we've stated, a repair villager would have been very helpful for some of those mangoes, but John maybe gets to breathe just a little bit.
Imagine, Tristan, imagine you're in John the Fearless's shoes. You have like 20 cav archers and 3 mangonels, you know, knocking at the door, and you only have 10 skirmishers in defense, and you push him away with that. That's ridiculous.
I think that would be a good time to quit casting. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, go pro at that point. Go pro.
It's also like, it's the worst. You would never, if you're watching this at home, never play like this. I feel like. I mean, maybe it's a matter of preference, Dave, but most humans are just going to get completely destroyed by this type of style. Like, giving up control consistently. He uses that speed defensively time and time again, Dave, and still Avilo pressuring. We have ourselves a beautiful series. And
one repair villager would have made so much difference here.
Yeah, I agree.
Avilo.
Maybe a bit of stubbornness there, and John the Fearless with the score lead now. 20 eco lead. And guess what? This time the defensive castle will actually go up. He has the stone for it.
Yeah, where do you put that? Right beside your gold, or?
Yeah, well, the problem is he plays with no vision. So if he just goes out to the hill, there could be another Mangonel. So it's really concerning that that's still the situation here. And Avilo's going to spot this right now, Dave. So he's going to have a Mangonel in a moment. I mean, villagers could easily go down. But cav archers could also easily go down to the skirmishers. And with ballistics, I think Avilo needs to get out of here. And he does after losing 4. Okay, conversion comes in, and that cav archer gets a kill. And now John may be expecting this, and I think John will be fine. That castle's going up, Dave.
Yeah, Avilo getting out of there with the relic while he can. He's going to bring it back to his base, and he kind of stalled out on cav archer production. I think he was feeling pretty comfortable with the position he had in John the Fearless's base with the mangonels and the cav archers. So he added a bit of eco behind it, spent the wood on the fish traps like we were talking about. And now he's going to start building up army again.
Look at that micro there. Split micro with skirmishers against the Mangonel up the hill. No problem. Still did take some losses, though, Dave. And now you see light cav for Avilo.
And Avilo's, I think, thinking about a castle of his own somewhere as well.
This is going to have to be all-in castle age, I think, for Avilo. Because you need an answer to the skirms before they get upgraded. And for that, he's going into the light cav, which is a good investment. You can't try and go imp, I think, in this spot. You'll just get completely destroyed. He's getting relics right now. The light cav switching over to the right side. And there's a hole there, actually. But instead, the light cav will just engage against the skirms and the monks first.
Yeah, and he's trying to block the monks with his skirms. That's not going to work, so he just keeps backing up.
Oh, my goodness.
Wipe goes up eventually, and the cav archers are finding their way into John's base.
This is the problem when you don't have initiative, Dave. Avilo just says, okay, I guess I could just run in now and get some kills. And you look at it, it's 8 eco kills versus 0. But John the Fearless is still on the way to imp and still in a good position.
Yeah, and if you're looking at total eco units, like that whole northern pond is idle for him. The whole right side pond is idle for him. He didn't invest anything in fish traps. So he's got like 15 idle economic units right now.
Right, cav archers going down as they retreat, but now the light cav come in. And this is the moment I was talking about. This is as John the Fearless is on the way to imp. He's reactive again. And he'll lose these skirms as he wanted to place a very weird castle over there. I don't think that'll ever happen. Reminder to the people watching. that John the Fearless was clearly the best player of the players he played earlier. At least showed it with the results. And Ivilo has yet to lose a game in this tournament.
What is that castle from John the Fearless? He's still going out for that.
It's a Fearless castle.
Right there.
It's almost like when it's not a defensive move, it's a little questionable, you know?
And the Cav Archers are in again.
Yeah. And I think the light Cav have paid off at this point. And the eco is pretty idle, of course, as we've established.
And Avilo is going to be thinking about going up to Imp soon. He's done. I think he's done way more damage than he suspected he would.
Yeah.
In this like interim period.
But he could still die. Like he could still die so hard to John if he doesn't take another good engagement here. Ridiculous, the level we're seeing here. And that castle is actually a good castle if it's protected, Dave. And I think Ivilo sees this as an opportunity to run back to John the Fearless's base. He's almost like, no, you stay in there. You stay in your base for as long as possible so I can catch up, please. Thank you.
Yep. And also, keep that hole wide open, please.
Yeah.
I want an entry point anytime I like.
A 13. I mean, you look at the total KD, it's pretty even there, but everything else, pretty astounding. The fact that John has the lead right now, despite how the game is played out. Clash of styles, as we said, but how are you going to be able to counter the Byzantines when they'll have very cheap skirmishers mixed in with Arbalest and probably Treb soon, Dave? Very winnable for John the Fearless. I would actually prefer his current position.
Yeah, Byzantines feel very, very strong against Huns here in Imperial Age. The fish traps have gone up for John the Fearless, so he did invest that wood, and his fishing ships will be working again.
Yeah, he works, John the Fearless likes to work out from home and slowly just expand to other areas of the map, and you see that now towards the south. He knows he'll need this base long term. But here he comes, and this is as Ivilo is sending light cav there. Does have a monk in the area, which will die.
I think that's a bit of a waste with the arbs, is it not? Just throw them in like that?
I mean, not really. No, I think he's destroyed there. But I guess it just depends on the situation we feel like we're in. Are Huns going to continue to go for cav archers here? Because if the answer is no, as Ivilo needs to react, it loses the first villager of the game, by the way.
That other group of cav archers, by the way, is coming back. They were sitting at that southern punt for so long, and now they've made their way back into John the Fearless's base.
And they also, the other arbs go down, Dave. All right, now these cav archers could go down, but yeah, crazy game.
It feels like for me, John the Fearless should have kept all of that in one ball and then pushed, right? Like make a few trebs, push down the middle with Byzantines.
Yeah.
Have the Arbalests all there, have some skirmishers mixed in, plug the freaking holes in your walls. Like, it's so many little things, right?
It's tough, though, because you look at the military count now, and Avilo's got 20. Just the way the games normally go, and this is why John the Fearless is such a unique player. John the Fearless should never be alive right now. You know, he's had to react so frequently. But here he is. 166 population. 148 for Avilo. With 3 relics, by the way.
Good pick from John at the bottom there. Avilo's trying to go for some stables.
Okay.
The scout is there. Gets one villager, but Avilo quick walls the other one. So he will have some raiding potential down there.
I think we're about to see the unit that Huns might arguably die the most to, Dave. And that's Heavy Camel. See the stables coming up. See the tech switch coming in for John. Heavy Camel would counter the skirms. Would also counter these hussars that are out for Avilo. But I like the mobility.
Suspects that though. He sees the stables coming up. Does he make a tech switch right now?
Quick walls from John the Fearless, and John the Fearless has a doubt castle. Castle denied. Avilo asking all the questions, Dave, but there's still a lot of blue. And Byzantine power makes me really worry for this red player.
Okay. Avilo had a monastery forward. He made another monastery way at the back of his base.
What?
And he's going to go drop all the relics off there. And he's going to get in the transport ship and grab the other relic.
That's so smart. He also might send the cav archers to the dock to kill the fishing ships. He's getting walled out currently. He's done a great job at forcing reactions from John the Fearless.
Yep.
Like, non-stop. And I would say with worse tech right now. Because Arbalest, Skirm, Camel is so much better than Hussar and Skirm. And now you see these Hussars going in to take out a Treb, Dave. I don't think that's going to be enough. But a few villagers going down on the all-important gold, and gold will be an issue. Look at these 2-tile golds kind of directly to the south of the stables from John. That gold, I'm looking at the gold count. It's fine for Avilo, but long-term, most of that gold will be secured by John the Fearless. The Huns can't really play well without gold.
Yeah, you're just at such a civ disadvantage at this point in the game, right?
Yeah.
With all the technologies coming in from John the Fearless. Feels like Avilo has been in the driver's seat the whole time, but John the Fearless managing to survive everything. And now he can kind of get some momentum, start pushing back against Avilo's base.
Yeah, now the problem here is you've got to switch back into Cav Archers if you're Huns. And Cav Archers also get eaten by camels if the camel's getting close. So you really, if you're going to win at this stage of the game, you have to completely outplay the enemy. I think in many ways it has had the feeling that Avilo is. But John has recognized, if it gets to a certain stage, I just can't be killed.
Mm-hmm.
So much on gold for John. 40 on gold. I think the gold count's a little deceiving because Avilo wasn't spending gold for a while. John should have more gold control if we don't count the relics, as we see Cav Archers behind the wood line, Dave. There's actually still a hole there.
Yeah, he's been so good with these little groups of Cav Archers. He had those guys up north for quite a while. He had guys down south, which he looped around again. But John the Fearless coming now with camels, he's going to wipe that up.
Yeah.
And there's a big freaking battle in the middle. Oh my goodness, so many camels, so many heavy Cav Archer for the Hun player.
Oh, and it's just a better comp here for John the Fearless, as John the Fearless is focusing down every single Cav Archer he can. But Avilo does focus down one Trebuchet. And get the next one here, Dave. He's got to keep this position on the front. He's actually engaged against the Arbs, which I guess you could argue is fine because it's not like his castle's getting trebbed down or anything.
I like how Avilo hasn't even teched into Helby yet. He's just like, if I get enough Cav Archers, I can deal with the camels.
Yeah.
And he's spending gold on those camels. I'm not going to tech into help. I'm not going to waste resources on that yet.
Yes.
I'm just going to try and build up my mass.
But look at how tough it is now for Avilo to force the fights. John the Fearless has the castles in all the positions. More will continue. That castle's going to go up. It's really tough for Avilo to push Byzantines with the Huns. I think you need raids, Dave, and it's really tough to find spots for stables at this point.
Yeah.
But like you really need, I guess, a start is taking out this 7,000 HP castle from Byzantines, but raids on the sides is how he was keeping himself in this and getting a lead early. He's got to continue, and here the stables in the south are producing.
Yeah, and he's got another villager down there to the right of those Hussar. He does have a sneaky villager, so potential for some more stables to go up over there. I like the fact he's kept his heavy Cav Archers alive. He has that ball, and now he can just try and get Hussars in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we keep reiterating this fact, like, it's so tough to push against Byzantines when you're Huns.
But if he's able to take out this castle, then he might have access to those golds. And actually, the Treb pops out here. That's a free pick, I think. It's almost like John the Fearless intentionally ejected his skirms to try and distract the Hussars so he wouldn't lose the Treb, and he's going to save it? No, he doesn't save it. Oh, my God.
Treb goes down, and the castle in a weird spot where it's kind of like on the hill, but kind of not. I think Avilo actually has the hill bonus against that, and he's going to take it down.
Hussar's in, Dave. There's just too many areas to react to. The rewall denied. More stables will come up. This is where John the Fearless starts to lose some focus on the front because of those raids. And is that castle actually going to fall here? It is going to fall for John the Fearless, who still, I would maintain, has a much better position with Camel Skirmisher.
It's difficult, though. I mean, the raids are still doing damage from Avilo.
And lots of villagers idle here. Kill count's pretty even, but Hussars start swinging to the other side, Dave. That would be the next move. But John says, I'm not done yet. He takes out the Trebs. Did lose some of his own, though, and he just, every time he's got a ball of skirms, goes in for the Cav Archers. And then the Hussars, they struggle if there's heavy camels there.
Now, do you want to see Avilo tech into something else here? How do you think, like, Siege Rim would do?
I think he needs to keep every single Cav Archer alive because he's out of gold.
Yeah.
He does not have gold income right now. And the way that John has positioned himself is he's got the gold. So it's a real struggle here against the Civ, which can actually thrive without gold, funnily enough. But what a clear up here, man. Look at the pop dropping now for John the Fearless. He's still been losing villagers. He's down to 114 now. It's actually 69 to 15 eco KD, if you look at that, and then maybe he gets the gold.
And the camels don't seem so effective anymore, do they? Now
True.
that there's, 35 cav archers on the field, the camels just kind of seem like they're getting shredded every time they try and engage. You can tell how distracted Ivilo is as well, because he's had that monk on Garrison from the transport ship for so long, still hasn't dropped off that relic.
Yeah, that was my theory of why players wouldn't get that all the time. So, okay, Dave, I think, and again, I'm just a caster here, but I think you're happy with this, and then you push the north or the south more if you're Vilo. And I see the Hussars expanding. It's like, the second it enters my brain, you see it enter the player's brain, and he has the skills to back it up. It's incredible, really. I thank you for the 69 gifted subs, anonymous gifter. But I'm really, like, I'm speechless at the level we're seeing here from Vilo.
It's crazy. He recognized exactly what he needed to do. He just needed the cav archer mass, maybe get a few raids into John's economy, and don't let him get a forward castle on that hill. Or if he does, take it down right away.
Still think Byzantines have so much potential here, Dave. It's kind of like outlasting them here at this point, because you're still not getting gold if you're Vilo. And it's not easy to take out castles and whatnot either. The castle positions are really good for John.
He's going for another transport ship at the south to take that other relic.
All right. Well, and a cheeky little lumber camp there. I also see that he's thinking about rams, Dave. Look at these cav archers micro away from the skirms. I think that castle might be a little preemptive for Vilo. Okay, he's canceled it. Does he have to leave his hill here, Dave? That looks really bad for the cav archers.
Yeah, leave the hill. Leave the hill. You need Hussars in front.
John the Fearless is not quitting here.
They're not going to trade well against the camels, but they provide a meat shield between the camels and your cav archers. And you can't get below. I feel like you have to stay around 30 cav archers in that mass.
Look at that castle from John. I feel like that tells you what's been happening here. He continues to get raided, so he's so worried about that. And then look at John. Again, he knows he's holding the gold, so he's just making the skirms, which he can afford. They're cheap. Trying to whittle down the cav archers.
The most ridiculous little side battle is happening in the north right now.
I see that. And a moment ago, Avilo saw that. But is he going to look back over here in time? Because the Vills were there a moment ago. This will end up being pretty important, actually, because he doesn't have defense there, Avilo. And it's going to be repaired, okay? John's taking the score lead again, Dave. It's close.
Siege rams coming in from the south, but John the Fearless notices that right away, goes with the villagers to attack it. Oh my god, the game sense from these two players is unreal.
He doesn't have the gold right now, Ivilo. If he had 800 more gold, I think he could go in there with 6 rams. But this is kind of desperation mode if you have to go in with 1 ram against Byzantines. But he's in again with Hussars! Look at the camels and the eco trying to clean up all these raids.
And he's coming back with that relic from the transport ship. He's going to bring it all the way back to his main base,
I don't even know which pond you're talking about right now, Dave.
Crazy, dude.
But if the castle in the north falls, there is gold there. He was on it once. So John is actually going to have to push the middle now. With that crucial hill, which is also denying a stone.
Cav Archer mass is getting pretty low. He's only at 16 right now.
This is bad, dude. This is bad. Like, it was tough enough when he had 30 Cav Archers. But to only have 19 now is pretty brutal.
But look at the villager numbers. The raids are doing work. He killed so many vills on that stone. He killed so many vills on that wood line.
All you need to do to know how this game has gone is look at the bottom left of my screen. 131 villagers killed by Avilo. 21 from John the Fearless.
The castle in the north, it went down. The castle in the north went down.
And more Hussars will find opportunities for kills, Dave. And with that farm count, I think John the Fearless will know himself how good Hussars can be here. But what if John the Fearless snowballs the middle right now? Is that possible?
I think it is, especially with the bombard cannons and the trebs behind. With that camel mass, that ridiculous number of camels, and the skirmishers behind that. As long as he keeps targeting those cav archers, it is a possibility. He just has to be concerned with all these little red dots all over the map hitting his economy.
If John the Fearless can just stop the decay of his eco. He denies the castle! Wait, does he? He does deny the castle in the north. John the Fearless can do this in the fight in the front, Dave.
Fight in the front, hops in the castle.
Monk's
Maybe
there.
spits out the other side. The monk is just now getting back with that relic, but this push, it seems unstoppable.
It's not. It surely is unstoppable. 69 military for John the Fearless, 43 for Vilo, and he's fighting with the worst tech. Vilo has done everything.
Here comes more hussars. Here comes more hussars. Now all the military focus will be on this middle area.
Skirmishers,
Can he
Dave,
take
as they're
this
going
down or
down, they're
not?
taking out the cav archers, though. That's a really good move from John. He's whittled down so many cav archers. It's 150 pop for both. Is the castle not going to go down here?
Well, there's not much military left for Vilo.
That's a big
So
problem.
many cav archers in the queue, though. Look at the queue. He can reproduce that mass if he clears this up.
Yeah, but can he take care of the Rams here? I think he needs that castle, or this is GG. Like, that is such a big opening into his eco. He hasn't expanded much elsewhere. He's now getting hit in the woodline in the north by John.
He had some cav archers in that castle. He's got like 6 of them in there. You add that to the existing mass, he's going to have 20 cav archers again.
What in God's... How is this possible? In so many different ways, how is this possible from both of them? How is Avilo still alive, and how is John still alive?
He's
Dave?
back! I thought he was completely wiped. Now look at the army from Avilo heading across the field.
This is peak Age of Empires, ladies and gentlemen, but this is peak whoever we're looking at here. And I think there are possibly some questions about the level of certain names who have won certain tournaments over the past half a decade.
Avilo's saying, okay, buddy, now it's my turn. You're running out of gold. I've got all the relics. I've got cav archers again. I've still got my hussars. Time to fight.
Vilo has had 3,000 less gold in the game, but if it continues and there's no gold left on the map, Dave, the player with the relics will have the lead.
And look at where the relics are for the Byzantine player. The one relic is right in the middle of the map, right beside the army from Avilo.
I think you just switch back into a raid here. You know, just get 5 to 10 hussars. There's woodlines in the middle. Looks like he's actually sending camels to the north there. Or not camels, hussars into camels. But when you get a lead like this, if you're Avilo, you've got to feel great. Because you know that now you're in a proactive position. And you can just pick your spot.
Yep.
Like the
and
TC
Wood's
in the
gonna
south.
become
Yeah.
Wood's gonna become an issue for John the Fearless as he's kicked off the one in the middle. He's trying to drop a TC on the bottom side, but Avilo is there with hussars. Like he doesn't have much wood left, Tristan.
I think this is game over, Dave. And I know that like it might not be as long as some of the games we've seen, but in terms of actual gameplay on both sides, this has to be the most impressive we've seen.
And score switch is about to happen too.
Yeah, which tells the players a lot. You know, Vilo does still not have control of those golds there. And there's still gold income for John the Fearless, but it's not a lot. And now I think we might see that Halb switch we talked about, what, 30 minutes ago? He said, I don't need Halbs.
I think it was the correct play not to go for helps there, though.
I agree.
Like I think skirmishers and a massive cav archer were probably better. But now that it's getting into the later stages, helps makes a lot of sense.
181 villagers killed to 35. And John the Fearless has spent so much of his food just rebooming. And you mentioned wood. He was really running out of wood. It's actually funny. The wood lines in the middle, especially this one here, it's so exposed that Vilo doesn't even feel like that's an issue, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, he would never take it there.
I love when games like this, you know, it's all non-stop action for the last 20 minutes, and then you get to a situation like we've seen for the last minute, which is kind of a stalemate as both players settle down and try and figure out what's going on and what they can do to win.
For Vilo, you start taking deep breaths, and you start to pick your spots. For John the Fearless, you start to, you know, you're wheezing at this point. Like, how do I do this if this continues? You know, the villagers just continue to go down. The buildings are going down now. Here, hussars go down for Vilo, and still we remember how strong Byzantines can be with military. Is he going to have to survive another wave here? 80 military from John, somehow.
And you know those skirmishers are going to be on the hunt for the cav archers. Like, they dove right under that. Those skirmishers don't care about anything but cav archer deaths.
But I would just, you know, just keep spamming hussars. I mean, 86 on food, Dave. That food count is nuts. It is rather ironic if it is the Viper against Hera. Hera known for his hussar spam. What if we're completely wrong on that, by the way? What if Hera's up 1 game over the Viper right now?
It could be. It definitely could be. Hussar raids in again. Just constant annoyance.
Yeah. And it feels inevitable despite the population being 190 to 190, which is crazy. It should not be that way. How does it feel that way? As we see Ivilo making a dock, you just know he's going to get that relic now in the north.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He's certainly thinking about it. I mean, he's got 5 relics right now.
Yep.
And that's basically kept him alive here. He's got almost 800 gold in the bank at this point, Tristan.
Crazy. You go for a Wonder Drop as a flex here? Might be a little bit too early.
That's a little bit much considering all you've had to do in this game just to stay alive.
No, I mean, imagine doing that and then losing the game. What a horrible throw that would be. But again, it's just Red Hussars showing up to the proper spots. Trash units are quite slow. And the Cav Archers aren't even in action right now, Dave. They don't need to be. It's just slowly picking away at the enemy. It's methodical. And it's constant.
There's the transport ship at the top.
All right, so that will be 6 relics then for Ivilo. And this is going to be a good fight in the middle, Dave. And John the Fearless is going to play on here, as he should with the 150 pop. But I think John the Fearless is dead.
Yeah, especially with that castle position in the middle.
Yep.
That's like the last gold access he has. There's tons of production buildings there. It'll give him a launching point for his invasion of John the Fearless's base. He can just run away from these skirms. Even though they're hunting down the Cav Archers, they're too slow to catch up. And there's some chat here.
Okay, well, apparently there was a little bit of lag, thanks DE, but they're going to restart here. 247 villagers killed by Ivilo. I can't get over this. And 39 units killed by John the Fearless. And not units, of course, that's villagers. Like, that's probably the most lopsided KD with bill counts I've ever seen in an even game.
Yep. Finally, Pikeman making an appearance for the Byzantine player. Camels haven't really been working out for him the last few minutes.
He's now out of gold, John the Fearless. So somehow we got to this point. It only took 1 hour and 10 minutes where the Byzantine player's out of gold. And yes, Byzantines are great without gold, but they're not great without wood, as we see another raid that is soon closing in on 300 villager kills from Ivilo.
That TC has just been a disaster ever since it went up.
Yeah.
I think it's been constantly producing, but the villagers have been dying underneath it the entire time. And Ivilo is pretty happy to just sit tight here in the middle and send Hussars to each side of John the Fearless.
That's all that needs to happen here. Yep. John the Fearless might be playing on because of score or something. And I'm not really sure why. To be honest, the score is the way it is because of the KD. I don't know. But either way, this is just... If John the Fearless wants to drag this on for another 20 minutes, he can do it. But this is just... It's impossible to come back. Ivilo's still undefeated in this tournament. And, I mean, at least from what I've seen, John the Fearless has been the second best player. And Ivilo's just making... He's not making it look easy, Dave, because it looks very difficult. But he's doing it.
Look at all the reds he has banked.
Yeah, it's crazy.
1,300 gold at this stage in the game.
Yeah, any other Civ, you go champion here, but Huns don't get that, so you're pretty much maxed out. You probably would just want to save your gold for Rams and Trebuchets and Cav Archers if you lose any. How do you start to feel if you're John the Fearless right now, Dave?
Like you're up against a wall that can't be moved?
Yeah. I had the similar feeling last year in the finals. And last year in the finals, it was the Viper versus Hera. And, you know, it's similar to Sanjata, how John the Fearless continues to play on here. And it's the mentality you need to have to win long best of sevens, to win big tournaments. Adding some farms here or there, continuing to try and deal with raids. But doesn't really have a way to push the middle, which is the problem. Like, it's going to be slow, but the buildings are going to start to go down for John. He's just... There's nothing to stop the Hussars from breaking in time and time again here.
We got some ram production again from Ivilo. If he keeps those near his Cav Archers, he could do one giant push, but it looks like he wants to just utilize the mobility and keep switching up the fronts.
Sure. Yeah, and I guess if John had Rams here or Trebs to try and go for a push, I would feel a little bit of confidence for him, but again, it's just reacting, Dave. John is running low on resources. The south side, again, more Hussars coming in. It's nonstop.
Avilo's got 6,500 food banked up now.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
He's getting atheism.
He's getting atheism. Does the enemy still get a notification about atheism?
Yes, I think they do.
Oh my god. So I don't even remember what the change was with the atheism unique tech recently, but in the past, when you would research...
Enemy relics generate 50% less gold income.
So that one relic brings in 50% less gold? That's great.
Yeah, it's basically a 105 without typing 105.
I know, except you have to pay for it. Oh, my word.
It's a premium service.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen that in a tournament. And it's, of course, a tech in the game. And John the Fearless here should have got a notification there. But maybe in some ways... John the Fearless knows he's dead, but he wants to play on to maybe tire Evilo out. I mean, I don't think it's great. I think it's more so the pop. 180 pop. That's the problem here. I wouldn't resign at 180 pop, that's for sure. And 90 military, I wouldn't resign.
Yeah, but now there's 3 Trebs and 7 Rams coming through the middle, and he's starting to build up a Cav Archer mass there. He's still got the Cav Archer mass in the north, being hunted down by the skirmishers.
Yeah. They should get caught out here, Dave, I imagine, from a group of Hussars in a second, and here they come. It is important for Vilo. I know he's got the gold, but it is really important that he actually takes out the castles here, because that is expensive, and relics don't bring in gold that quickly. And I actually think he's going to fail to take out that castle. It's tough to kill Byzantines, like we've been saying.
Yeah, it looks like it's on a higher hill, so he doesn't have the hill bonus against it.
Look at that monk. That monk wants that relic so bad. That monk is hunting for that relic. In fact, I would take the monk out if I were John. Maybe this is John's opportunity, at least he feels like, to take out the castle there. And he was really waiting there with those Trebs, Dave. He hasn't shown them for a while. But I think he's going to end up losing them. And again, he's out of gold.
It's kind of weird to me how Avilo keeps pushing with the Rams, but never has the Cav Archers to back it up. He always brings them in later once the Rams get cleaned up.
Well, I think he is underestimating the amount of military that John continues to have on the field. Yeah. Like he saw an army in the north, and he said, okay, I can push the middle, as he finally takes out the Treb with his own Treb. And honestly, just hop behind your castle or in your castle here if you're Vilo. Yeah, just save the Cav Archers. There's no way that John the Fearless can push a castle right now.
He's trying to go around, but yeah, just hop in. Okay.
Yeah.
He's come to that conclusion. Trying to path around those Trebs was difficult, so he just gets in the castle. Skirmishers can't get too close. The Hussars are basically a free unit at this point, so he doesn't care if they die.
Is this a wood game again? Because it looks like without the wood in the south, oh no, maybe we're talking too soon.
Avilo has tons of options. He's got 2 in the north. He's still got some in the middle, protected by the castle.
I know this is maybe not the most professional thing for me to bring up, but I was kind of hoping this would be a quick game because I really have to pee. So, John the Fearless, if you could just accept your defeat here, that would be great. And I don't mean to be unprofessional about that at all. I think you put up a great fight here, but it's going to be an awkward situation pretty soon. But still, I mean, 160 population, Dave. This is probably it, though. I think that after this force dies, and a lot of it will go down, there's no way back for John the Fearless economically to mass more units. He doesn't have any skirms in the queue. There will probably be more Hussars in here. And I think the castle will fall. It should.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He doesn't get a hill bonus against that. But with that position, with the Cav Archers supporting it, should be pretty safe. Hussars going in for the skirmishers. Just keep reinforcing that position, and you should be good if you're in Avilo's position.
But is this not a sign of how good Byzantines are against Huns? It's been so tough for Avilo. If I would have written up a script for a perfect game here, it wouldn't have included half the things that we've seen. And there we see the GG. Avilo still undefeated in Hidden Cup 4 in the second semifinal. One of the most impressive technical, strategic, whatever you want to say, displays in Age of Empires right there.
That was amazing.
That was
It really
incredible.
was. Like, especially with that push that John the Fearless had in Imperial Age with all the camels onto that castle from Avilo, and you're like, this game's over, it's dusted, whatever. And he somehow managed to keep his cav archers alive and produce more with 0 on gold. It was what a show from
He
Avilo.
killed 324 villagers and lost only 42, and yet it took 1 hour and 22 minutes to win this game. He didn't have gold against Byzantines. I just can't. And I'm going to look now to the statistics and make this rather quick for reasons I explained earlier, but more wood, food, and gold collected in this game, believe it or not, by Valio, maybe using the market, maybe the relics, actually, bringing in 6,000 gold. And Dave, I have to think back to the early imp for John the Fearless. Like, he was very reactive, which I suppose was also the problem throughout that whole game, right? It may be a bit too defensive.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like the skirmisher choice and just keeping them at your base with no siege to support it seemed kind of weird.
All right, so Dave, if you can entertain the audience for about 60 to 70 seconds, that'd be great. I will be right back, and we'll be in game number 3 in a bit, people.
All right, guys. Who's your dark horse? You've heard all about our guesses for Avilo and John the Fearless. Who do you guys think? Is there someone out in chat that has a name we haven't mentioned for these? I mean, type it in the chat. I'm not going to be able to see because there's 57,000 of you here. Jordan, Doubt, Barles. Barles! I don't think it's Barles, but that would be pretty hype if it was. Dogao, Robo, someone says. That's a potential. Maybe Robo rigged himself into this tournament. Who won the first semifinal? That would be Admiral. Won the first semifinal against Sanjata. Very, very dominant display by Admiral, but a good effort from Sanjata. People think it's me. Okay. Okay, I wish I could play to this level. That would be fantastic. Doubt versus Doubt mirror matchup. I've never seen that one. I've actually been commentating Age of Empires for around 6 years now, and I've never seen the Doubt versus Doubt mirror. Oh man, I don't know what. First of all, I don't know how long Tristan's gonna be.
I'm good.
Okay, good, because I was running out of content.
It sounded like you were struggling.
I was really like, come on, man.
I came back to you sighing heavily, so I was really worried for a second that something had gone down. Chad, what did you do to him? What did you say to Dave? Don't break Dave. We need him.
What did they do to me? You mean, what did the 4-hour-long first best of 7?
That's true.
The long game we just had do to me.
Attila the Pun with 48 months subbed to this stream. That is amazing. As says, I heard Ivilo is the controller player. Okay. Can you confirm that?
Controller player is on hiatus, right? He's taking a break.
Okay.
He ran into some difficulties the last time he played, so
wonderful.
He's on vacation.
Reminder before we hop into game 3, which will be in a second, and it will be on Bay, that $1 goes into the prize pool for every single sub this channel has. That's why the number at the bottom of your screen is going up. If we could get some stonks in chat from all my subs, that'd be great. And Dave, let's go game number 3. Feels like a final. Very much is a repeat of what we think was a final. Capture Age is not cooperating with me right now. So 1 second, Dave. Civilizations are Mongols versus Italians. And when we get into Capture Age, we'll be able to speculate because these civs have been seen before on Bay. And this is that awkward time where I continue to talk as we wait for Capture Age to load up. And we act like there's no problems behind the scenes because this is fine. This is not a big deal. We're good to go. Semifinals. And
what
yes,
do you think
we
we
are.
are. Some professional production company?
We're definitely not.
Just a bunch of guys sitting in their offices or bedrooms around the world trying to put this on for 55,000 of you. But here we go, game number 3, and we are into Bay. We've got Italians for John the Fearless, and we've got Mongols for Vilo.
Okay, so there were situations earlier where we talked about laming. Mongols the best laming civilization because of the scouting bonus. And on Bay, you know where the enemy TC is. Now, boars are normally on the backside. And I remember a player yesterday scouting the back of his base early against Mongols, and I criticized that. Let's see if that becomes a factor here. Because the scout is on the backside for John the Fearless. And now, if Ilo sees the boar, now this is a long journey and it could be blocked, but no hesitation, Dave. A cutthroat mindset from Avilo, and he says, "Your pig is mine."
Was it a Vilo yesterday that stole a pig and then didn't even take it until like halfway through Feudal Age? Was that him?
I think it was somebody else. I forget, but let me look at John the Fearless's point of view. I think he knows the boar has been stolen at this point. So at this point, you can try and run out and try and block it, or you can just give up. And unless Ivilo makes a mistake here, it's I know pig for John the Fearless.
He's sending a turkey. The only place it could be is behind that wood line. So he's sending a turkey to
He
investigate.
doesn't know. Yeah, I think, and again, it's really critical, but one of the big reasons you pick Mongols on a map like this is because the positions are somewhat fixed, and because of the scouting bonus, which can lead to laming, and of course the hunt. So it's easy for me to say up here in my casting chair, like, oh, you should do that thing. You knew, not trying to be overly critical, but I've seen it before, and it's perhaps not a surprise to me, Dave, that the boar's gone.
Yeah, and here comes the boar in here. Avilo's going to stop by the turkey shop, pick those up, and keep on running towards the TC. He's got to be careful about that one that's kind of far forward on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm. Notice there was a pause there at 354.
Yeah, maybe he was thinking about Rees and then realized he didn't have one.
Yeah, if there are restarts available in a tournament, you have to call it before the 4-minute mark. So my guess is maybe John the Fearless thought, uh-oh, this is not good for me, and just double-checked.
John the Fearless could delay this villager, though. It's being very annoying. Remember, the scout from Avilo is low HP.
Yeah.
So in a straight-up fight, John the Fearless can engage, but not with the villager there.
Right. Well, so it seems like the meta for the map, which is very much about winning water, is going to stay somewhat consistent. But wait a second. Do you remember the way Avilo, I think it was Avilo, played this map yesterday, where he overmade fishing ships and just made galleys to snipe the enemy fishing ships, and then went for some type of a faster castle on land? That we could see that again. 3 boars now with Mongols, which was a civ which was dominant in Hidden Cup 3, but also we've seen lose plenty of times on this version this year with the civ draft.
And John the Fearless may be thinking about some walls to that dock there, but they can just go around that side.
Yeah. There's the dock. But fishing ships will come out for both here. It is cheaper for Italians to make them. It's also discounted for Italians to go up to the next age. John the Fearless, I think, has made the right move to get back home and try and get some deer in, because he's running low on food underneath his TC. He's kind of running low on options strategically too, Dave. I think you have to go fast feudal here to try and compete for water. You don't have the option of just... I guess you could go fast castle, but it just feels so weak.
With Italians, yeah. It feels like you got to play to your strengths, right? Even if you lose a boar, fight for the water.
Yeah, man. And how many times have we seen who we think Value is just absolutely punish people for small little things? It has been amazing today. And that's huge. And I feel for John the Fearless. Like, there's nothing worse than this. You're down 2 games, and then you get lamed, and he's a quality player. He knows that it's going to be awkward from here, but he has made it to feudal age, or he's on his way, excuse me.
John is going out to Kansas to push that next steer.
Oh, and it's trolling him.
back.
Oh, no. I always knew I never wanted to go to Kansas.
Oh, God.
Sorry to my Kansas audience. I don't know how many people are watching from there, but hopefully not too many. But yeah, Avilo is just scouting to see what John the Fearless will try and do. Also feels like the villager's going to be late to get the second dock up here, Dave. Normally you have a Vil coming out, so maybe that's not the plan for John. Maybe he's not going to try and win the water anymore.
Maybe he thought Red Scout was out there. I don't know. It's difficult, right? There's no villager coming forward from Avilo either. He's only making a house over there.
He's going to go similar to what I kind of thought and just go one dock and play somewhat greedy with taking the deer. Another reason to pick the Mongols. He knows he'll have all the food in the bank, so... Chat, you can't use the minus 7k emote. We do not have 7,000 viewers from Kansas right now. I'm sorry. I don't actually have any facts to back that up, but I'd be very surprised.
We don't have them anymore.
Okay, that's fair.
Do you see what John's doing with the scout? Being so annoying to these fishing ships.
Yeah, that's smart.
Weakening them a little bit.
Well, and here's what's interesting about the approach from Avilo. He could have gone 2 docks to win water, but instead he's making it 1v1. So in theory, I mean, if John is able to win some micro battles here, he can control the ponds with a civ that's suited for it.
He's going to kill these fishing ships with that scout. Give him enough time.
Yeah.
Now the fire galley's going to come out and weaken it quite a bit.
That could be a big deal later on.
An annoyance.
Yep. And important here to not attack the fishing ship first if you're John, because now he's going to lose that battle 1v1. And the repair villagers here, where I don't see that for John the Fearless. But what John the Fearless does see is the barracks, and so that
and
probably...
Avilo,
Yep, go ahead.
Avilo's going to show up to the dock with his scout right as that villager comes out.
Loses HP though, Dave, and shouldn't be around here any longer. Yep.
If he sends his fire ship in, though, he can attack the repair villager with the scout and attack the fire ship with his own. So maybe he gets something done there. But now the scout from John the Fearless coming back. It's the little things, right? The little unit control that's going on here.
Great play from John to keep this stable here. Still have to think about what's going to happen on lands. But slip up from Avilo as he loses that scout. And now John the Fearless, he can maybe go for some land aggression, and Avilo won't be able to see if the enemy's doing that. In fact, hold on a second. Before the scout went down, did it spot the range? It did spot the range, Dave, so hold no.
And immediately, John the Fearless goes out to those deer to see what's going on.
I think this is probably a point where Avilo drops off the food and comes home. Still needing to pay very close attention to water here, both players, as the fishing ship goes down. The micro of the fire is coming back. There's some weak fishing ships if John wants to take them, and John says, thank you.
Weakened by that scout, by the way. And Avilo did go for a demo ship, but he went 1-for-1 with the fire galley. So
okay. Good to know.
not the
Thank
greatest trade.
Yeah, the fishing ship's not working right now. Archer's here for Avilo, and I just sense some greed here, Dave. I think he's going to try and get the food as the demo comes in. Oh, that was a juicy demo for John, and he needed that. Huge one, Dave. He could clear out the fishing ships, and now if you think about this, if Avilo doesn't have the food income, he doesn't have the eco to click up to Castle Age. So I think now with a few fishing ships coming out, John could be okay.
Are you serious?
What?
Are you serious? The archers were heading towards those deer, right?
What?
He ate through the deer too quickly,
What?
so he went up to the other ones, and now the archers are going to miss the villagers.
That's not... How is that a thing?
It's not even fair.
That doesn't... Dude, that would be 3 villagers killed right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, let's say this game, goes on for another 20 minutes, and then when the game ends, John notices that all the deer are gone. Like...
And you're saying he doesn't have any food income. Like,
yeah.
That's his food income right there.
Well, he's still got sheep. He's had like 6 sheep underneath his TC2. But I do think that this means Avilo is not going to expect the archers here. So this could actually surprise him. And it looks like John is in a position to defend against any archers that come in from Avilo, excuse me. Oh dear, man. But he doesn't have all the archers out. He does have 2 more in the range. I guess it's just 1 and about to be 2. But there's the Castle Age. And Dave, that's just such a big deal to be able to keep those villas in the mix after losing water there.
Ooh, boy. Loses that archer and immediately kicked off the gold, Tristan. He couldn't even finish the second archery range.
Yep. Needs to get some more defense here. And John, trying to get the villager, will not get the villager. TC hits the archers like 3 times, but slightly. I think in the end, while John's doing a good job to be annoying here, that archer's not going to contribute much more.
Yeah, and that extra hunt has helped Avilo up to the next stage. So he's on the way to the Castle Age. John the Fearless not there yet, but John the Fearless with the water control, the extra fishing ships, and a much more stable economy.
Yeah, with the farms, right? And that's the thing about Mongols. You get that hunt, but then it runs out. Look at that wood count for Avilo. This is very very greedy long term, but he is going to get horse color now. Okay, well the archers find them now.
Yep.
Look
They're
at
weak
everything he
archers.
checked. Oh, and he's attacking the mill, and Avilo realizes, and he's just
So unfortunate.
really is. Like there's making your own luck, and then there's being Avilo. Like that is just a blessing from the Age of Empires gods right there.
Fortunate to pick off this forward army, though. Completely wipes that up. Avilo losing 4 archers there before they can be upgraded.
I'm sorry. I completely missed that one. That was... Oh, yep, I see it. Okay. This looks very, very greedy for Avilo. And so maybe the roles are going to reverse for the first time in the series. 3 TCs. Now, I don't think the food eco is really there to justify a lot of this. You've got 2 ranges. He can't get Elite Skirmisher. He can't even get Bodkin Arrow. It's just a straight up boom here from Avilo. And this is, I'd say, very dangerous against the archer numbers and the micro that John the Fearless has.
And he's just now adding farms. I mean, with the TC placement, there's not going to be a whole lot of areas John the Fearless can hit with his archers, which is going to be good for Avilo if he plays a more defensive style. But you're right about the food income.
Yep.
Like he's through the hunt at the top now. And that's super exposed. He probably doesn't want to go out there again. And his farm count is only sitting at, what, 9 right now?
Yep, he's going to get Bodkin Dave, but that means his TCs will go idle as he does this. Now, John the Fearless, the way he's always played this map is little investment into water and then go for TCs with archers. And he's stuck to that MO here. I know in previous games he wasn't all about taking map control. But on this one, he loves to boom into archers and fast arbalest. And it's really tough for me to say this because of the fact that Avilo is up 2-0 and is undefeated and is on 3 TCs. But I honestly would prefer to be in John's position, having crossbows with a boom behind it.
Didn't you say that last game? Like 3 times?
I did, which brings me back to my point that Avilo is just a special player. Because, like, that's why I had to clarify that, because I don't want people to be like, no, why would you ever say that if Viper is wrong, you know? So I recognize that.
Good insight from Dux there. He says, with this level, it feels like we're watching 3 grand finals today.
That's true, dude. That is very true. This is not the final, FYI, everybody. So I just feel as though
Wait
the
a second.
army out...
Did Dux put his own quote on the screen?
Yeah. That's so... What it...
Come on.
Talk about letting the power get to your head.
I know, right?
Is like, people didn't give him enough responses in Twitch chat, so he just decided to throw his own quote up there. All right, Dux. So, Dave, what do you think about this monastery and university now for Avilo? It looks like he wants to go crossbows now.
Yep. And I like the fact that John the Fearless, he had a villager heading across, and then he tasked her back to farms. I thought he was going to go for some forward siege workshop. I'd like to see some pressure from John rather than just sitting back all the time, right?
Well, he just, I don't know if you could say this is unfortunate, but the monk is distracting the crossbows. And so he's been chasing that, and he will kill that, but now he can't really do damage here as he lost crossbows running forward. But Dave, you could see what the food eco has done and also what that farming eco has done. And I think Avilo was just way too greedy. I honestly think that if the deer villagers would have died earlier, John the Fearless would have a massive lead. John the Fearless is more than fine right now.
Alas, the deer villagers did not die, and Avilo is on stone right now.
Yeah.
He's working his way towards a castle, and we know how deadly Mangadai can be on this map once you get them massed.
That's been a conversation we've had for years, is how greedy should you be with Mongols? Do you need to go to stone early? Can you wait? Can you play aggressive in Castle Age with other units? But for Avilo, the logic is simple. Just get to a castle with Mongols, and he feels like, how can I lose? But you've got to mass them, Dave. You need to get upgrades on them. I think that it'll be very tough for Avilo to really push over the next 10 to 15 minutes, and there's potential for John.
And I think it's going to be tough for John to keep this army alive. Avilo's kind of baiting him into his second army with those first 6.
Yeah. A little bit here. There is ballistics for Avilo, and ballistics is about to complete here as we see micro from both. So they both have ballistics in this engagement. And they're both going to dance here. I mean, The value has been pretty close so far.
Wow.
Someone want to explain what we're seeing here? Thank you. Hello? Yeah, this in the end, John the Fearless is going to win this, Dave, but impressive from Avilo to go into this fight with fewer units. What in the name of...
He's got the other one microing on the other side, too.
Oh, there we go. Put an end to it. Thank you.
Unbelievable micro from both players there.
But I think it should, in theory, be a much easier position for the person with more numbers, right? So I'm a little shocked that Avilo was able to trade against two armies like that. Let's get some nerd spam in chat. Bunch of nerds indeed. Dave, no castle yet for Avilo, but you see what John the Fearless is planning on. It's cheap to go up to Imp with Italians. He wants to go for fast Arbalest and probably a forward castle of his own with bombard cannons to push the Mongols.
Yeah, I mean, he's only got 160 in the bank, so he's going to have to wait a little bit. I like the castle from Avilo being safer up to the north there, because it is one of your main production buildings if you're going into Magadai. So you want to keep that a little bit more secure if your opponent decides to go for some fast Imperial
Big
stuff.
Big moment. Is John the Fearless going to realize this? And he does, and that was actually, I would say, poor for Vilo to poke out on that side as he is to abandon the castle.
It's going to push him
foundation.
towards that castle. Yeah, it'll push him right towards that castle, and John the Fearless is going to hang out in that area. Now that he sees that foundation, he's not going to let that go down.
He will take the middle now, right? He's going to run away and distract. He's now going to take the middle with some more units, and the TC did go up for John here as he is on his way up through the Imperial Edge. I think that Avilo... He's gone for a very greedy approach here, Dave. I love John the Fearless's position.
Nice little loop there from Avilo to go around north of that wood line with a few villagers and complete that castle.
All right, yep, that's going to eventually go up, I imagine. If you're John, do you dive in here? Do you just try and keep your numbers alive?
It's tough, right? I feel like there's a value to keeping Avilo distracted with this army and keeping him on edge.
91 eco versus 88. One player on the way to Imperial Age. One player with 18 military. But that player has the worst tech long term. I could definitely sense something happening here where I think we'll have a situation where Vilo's later to the Imperial Age, but with 2 castles. Versus faster to the Imperial Age with 1 for John. Scorpion goes down. And there goes the castle.
Mangonel's coming near the crossbows.
Oh, that response time from John was sick. And there he goes. So what we've seen from John in the past is fast Arbalest into bombard cannons into a castle for map control. It's all about extending his lead early on. Where's this next castle go for Valio? I would probably place it in front of this TC here, Dave. But it seems like he wants to stay out of the middle with these castles.
Yeah, it's a risk, right? Especially when you see your opponent's already in Imperial Age.
Yep.
You have to assume there's bombard cannons or a castle or something coming. And if he gets the siege out onto the field before you, he can take down that second production building. So I'm very curious where he puts this. Okay, put it more defensively.
I don't even think Mangadai is an option here. You just cannot have the time to mass them. Arbalest will be such a strong unit.
Do you go...
I was thinking
he's got so many Mangonels. Is he going Onager? Or is that just like a delay tactic with the Mangonels?
What about Drill Onager, Dave? Drill Onager could be really sick.
It feels bad against bombard cannons, though.
True. But if you get into Rams, too, I mean, thinking this will be more about the Mongol siege than anything. And I really do like that castle spot now for John, as he boldly, fearlessly kills villagers underneath that TC. 50 population lead for John, Dave. This is insane. And look at the villagers go out to expand to get outposts for map control.
Yep.
Excellent response after the lane. Being down 2 games, John the Fearless showing what he's all about here.
As soon as he had the opportunity, he immediately spreads his little webs all over the map. We got blue dots everywhere.
Yep.
And he's even got Arbalest at the top, preventing Avilo from expanding that way.
Yep. He's everywhere. He sees everything. And it means everything to him to get a win here. I think if you were to... The quality's so high as we are seeing Drill and we are seeing Onager.
You called it because we rarely see that right as a player hits Imperial Age. So credit to you, Tristan. You called that one.
Well, let's see if it works. Because you also said it's awkward against Bombard Cannon. So here's the deal, guys. So Drill makes your siege faster. And... Oh, the Bombard Cannon! The Bombard Cannon stays alive. That's such a big deal. But these are speedy Onagers, and it will be very tough for John to micro against speedy Onagers. Or will it, Dave? Big moment here.
He's going to send 2 at a time. These things are so fast!
Oh, and the Bombard Cannon goes down!
Run!
And now you
Run,
can't
man.
push... Now you can't push the castles. This is a big problem. Oh my god. He even takes out his own trees for good measure here. And now John the Fearless is like, uh-oh, that's dangerous. He backs away. And I see him immediately get, well, for a second there, he got a cav upgrade. So I think he wants to go Hussar.
And now you can move into Mangadai.
Yeah, Mangadai.
Miming the Civ and the unique unit. There we go.
What do you call Italianese crossbows, I guess? We probably won't see those. Boom! Absolutely rocked there. Yeah, now your castles are safe. Now you can make Mangadai, Dave, but... You still only got 2 castles, and he hasn't been able to expand to additional stone piles. Like, there's so many resources for John. And we saw what he could do last game, holding on for a long time. But I guess the script has flipped a little bit. Oh, no.
Here come the Onagers. They're so fast.
Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Well, good splits from John as he confidently goes in here. And why are you doing that? If he would have been given any other name, he would have ran away there. Dangerous, dangerous spot for these units.
They're so... It's just so unexpected. You never fight against Drill Siege.
Yeah. So rare.
It's really, really hard to predict, especially if you're microing with Archers. The speed surprises you every single time.
Yeah, and it's just a... I don't know if I could tell you the last time we've seen a straight-up opening to Onager Drill. This is one of those special moments, Dave. 2 relics for both. And
here comes the Cavalier switch.
Is he actually going... He actually is going Cavalier. Wow. Interesting. Well, he has the gold for it, certainly. And Cavalier, fantastic against the Onagers. And I think Ivilo is just hoping to get out some arbs, but realistically, if he's out here, he is in trouble against Cav. And here come 3 Bombard Cannons. Vilo needs to defend himself still, Dave.
Massive confidence from Vilo, just wandering around with 3 Onagers alone.
It's so crazy. But soon 200 population versus 130. I know that Drill Onager is exciting, but I just don't... Nice split.
How do you notice that? You're focusing in so many different areas. How do you notice that just in the nick of time? That's amazing.
And now the light cav come in. Big attack rounds possible. We'll probably see a split from the cav, though, expecting it. And we see both, actually. Oh, no, but the arbs go down, and now 2 Bombard Cannons go down. And here come the Cavalier, and the Cavalier split, and should be enough to take out as Valio kills his own villagers.
Big shot.
What in the world, Dave? But the castle's down. The castle is down.
The Cavalier numbers are being whittled down as well. There's light cav on the field, but Castle was in an important position there.
Yeah. And that stays up, of course. If you want to rely on only Hussar and Siege Onager, I think it's going to be tough here. Italian Cav, maybe not high up on their list of strengths, but it should be. Because they do get full upgrades, but the arbs are needed! I mean, the KD is going to look good, at least for Valio, if he keeps this up, but I don't know if he can continue to sustain production, Dave. He does not have any map control.
I feel like Pavise saved a few of those Herbalists there.
Maybe.
As he's trying to deny this castle with just an Onager. He's doing so much work with these things.
But Valio is dead. He's going to lose his first game. Look at the raids. He hasn't reacted to this. John the Fearless says it's my turn. And in this game, John has killed 32 villagers and only lost 5. And who cares about, as another shot comes in, how many Arbalests you lose? Except for maybe that highlight reel. As the Bombard Cannon goes down. Round 2. Oh, God. I would be a little frustrated if I'm John right now.
That
Not gonna
trap
lie.
killed the castle foundation too, and it might kill this one as well. He killed 2 castle foundations with that one treb, but it doesn't matter. John the Fearless in such a dominating position right now, and he takes back a game from a Vilo who looked so good in the first 2.
Wait, did he really take out 2 castle foundations?
Yep.
So let me get this straight. Vilo took out 2 castle foundations with 2 treb volleys and then called the GG.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't resign. That's just really funny. Well played from John the Fearless, Dave. And this was perhaps a rougher start than he's ever faced in this series after getting lamed.
Yeah, it was a really good bounce back from him. I think the water battle was won very early, which benefited him greatly, right? He had that fishing eco the entire time. He was able to get an advantage from that. Unfortunate that he missed the villagers on the deer in the north, but he managed to push Avilo off gold for quite a while in that transitionary period, and he never looked back.
And that was... I can say it, even though I think we know this player is way better than most. It was bad from Avilo. I said it the second the 3 TCs went up. You had no army control on a map where you need it, and you had lost some water control. It really was a poor way of capitalizing on the opportunity that he had with the lame. On top of that, Dave, a little bit of good fortune. He could have even lost those risky villagers in the middle. So John the Fearless, I think, undefeated on that map in this tournament. And he's hoping to play it again. He would have to play it again in the finals, of course. We can't see that map again here in the semis. And for the first time, we will see the home map of Avilo. And the first one he picked was Quarry. Is that what he's going to go for, Dave? I mean, he picked it first.
Don't we have to play bypass, though?
Oh,
Isn't
yeah,
this
that's true. That's true. Bypass
tournament?
is set. My bad, chat. My bad.
Yeah,
This is why we stream this as opposed to recording it for YouTube. Thank you. I think you were about to be like, I think you were about to roll with me there, and then you saw chat freaking out. You're like, wait a second, what did chat say? Am I muted again?
Actually, I opened the game, so.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'll hop into game 4 then. So that's an easy way to answer our questions. And we have seen this before, and we are in. I'm about 15 seconds in now. And in the blue, we have John the Fearless looking to tie things up in this epic semifinal. In the red, we have Turks for Avilo. So Malay against Turks, a matchup we've seen before.
It's surprising how many times we've seen this matchup.
Yeah.
Players obviously practicing this map quite a bit. And with the Turks, the strategy has been light cav. Control the outer areas of the map, maybe stop a push down the middle. And for the Malay, we've had varied results. We saw the one player, Sanjata, go for a super fast Castle H into some Monk and Siege pressure.
Yep.
And then we saw another couple players go for fast feudal into eco upgrades.
Yes. Now, I think John the Fearless is a boomer, despite the age of this player, depending on who it is. So I would say this is probably going to be that eco approach you mentioned from Malay. As for Turks, if you expect that from the opposition, what is the best play here, Dave? Do you go fast him? Do you boom yourself? I feel like if you don't try and be aggressive in some way, you're just playing at a disadvantage early.
I think the fact that these were played after the first round of the tournament was shown is probably going to weigh into this, because John the Fearless will have seen that Turk strategy.
Okay.
It's no longer a surprise. I don't know if he practiced against someone who, like, prior to the tournament who did it.
Yeah.
But he'll know what's coming. So maybe Avilo, knowing that, will switch up his strategy a little bit.
Okay. Well, we see the forward villager here. No huge rush at the start to do this, but you see some quick palisade walls here, and this is so Avilo can have an extra layer of protection, which indicates some passive play. But yeah, I would personally prefer to have Malay, just because of the eco bonuses, but I could really see Avilo playing a bit, I don't know, aggressive to then stall the game out, I suppose, and then using all the gold here. I would really like the idea of going for relic control and light calf as Turks to control the extra sides. Extra sides, extra resources on the side. Sorry, it's been a long day.
We're only halfway through.
Pretty much, yeah, that's true. Well, that's good for me. I don't know if the quality of my casting is going to be there when the finals arrive, but I know the quality of the games will be, so. So, a few moments here just to bring up a few things to everyone who's here. So, we have a giveaway link below the stream. And you don't have to enter that. You can enter in a lot of different ways. If you received a gifted sub or have a prime or whatever, you can get extra entries there. I'll do that giveaway after the reveal today because today's probably going to end up being ridiculously long and tiring. And I'll send you the email if you win. Also, we have, I think it's up now below the stream. It is a prediction page where you can put in your predictions for all 16 players now. We will also be giving away prizes to the people who get all 16 players correct. Last year, there were not many. And then the final reminder is a thank you for being here. And I don't normally do this in my normal streams, but I figured since we have 56,000 people, if you do have Twitch Prime, that goes directly towards the channel, and obviously it goes towards the prize pool too here. So thank you guys for the support. Wanted to give you a little breather there, Dave. Nothing out of the ordinary so far for me.
What do I normally say here? If you're a fan of Avilo, donate. If you're a fan of John the Fearless, subscribe.
That's such a good sellout. And
is it gonna work? That's the question.
Well, it's like
got him. It's working.
You didn't even. I said like. I spoke for a whole minute, and you spoke for 10 seconds. And look at this. Thanks, man. All right. Dave's getting a juicy paycheck.
John the Fearless is actually expanding over to the right side here, bud.
Whoa. I like that.
And not going up quickly for the eco upgrades. Or it's not yet. Maybe he's going to try and drop the food here. It's always weird with Malay, right? The timings, because you go up so quickly. You're thinking, like, if he wants to get eco upgrades, he should try and go up 19, 20 pop. But with Malay, you never really know.
Yeah, I don't think this is that build order we've seen before. So instead of going for 26 or 27 pop up to Feudal Age with Malay, you normally go up with something ridiculous like 30 or 31. So it is probably, I mean, it is Fast Castle guaranteed. But if you look at how Avilo is playing this, he's playing the standard approach of just staying at home with the Scout, Dave. So he doesn't really see this, and you can't really prep to do anything about this right now.
Yeah, he has no scouting whatsoever. Took him a while to push in all the zebra and ostrich.
Yeah. But it looks like...
Why is he still at home? That's my question.
He's, in his eyes, he's going Fast Castle, so he doesn't really care. But if he goes up with anything more than 27 pop, it might be a Fast Imperial from Avilo. I think he's going to go up on 27 pop, though. So this is, my guess, a stable opening in the next stage. You get Light Cav on the field, and then just boom. Thank you to Link for the 10 gifted subs. No Chill donated, actually. So do you say that's an Avilo fan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have one Avilo fan and a ton of Prime John the Fearless fans. So apparently everyone's rooting for John the Fearless, Kappa. Obviously, no stress, guys. Thank you to the... I actually missed the message because it's off my screen now. Thank you to whoever that was.
Thanks for the guy who randomly donated me $50 yesterday, too.
Really? While you were casting with me?
It happens occasionally. Just look at my email at nighttime. I'm like, what?
That's great, man. Hey, I can't say that I've really received many donations while not streaming or co-casting on someone else's channel. So, all right. Well, we have crazy fast uptime to Feudal Age coming in for John the Fearless, which could lead to an insanely fast Castle Age. And I'm really liking the build order. We'll probably go with a Market and a Blacksmith, Dave. And I'm expecting John the Fearless to maybe keep some focus on this right-hand side.
Yeah, and Avilo even going out to stone for that extra. He spent 10 stone or 20 stone, I guess, on the outposts. Okay. That are really satisfyingly placed, actually, on the each side of that wall. So he's going to have to make that up. It looks like he wants that second TC. And stable Blacksmith from Avilo, you were right.
Yeah, okay. So here are the outposts. I was like, for some reason, I missed half of what you said, and the outpost thing was really bothering me. So I found them. There you go, people. That is true. It is pretty satisfying. You know what bothers me is how you can't put a unit into the outpost. I feel like, and I hate to give devs more weird balance suggestions, but what if there was a civ where if you put a unit inside of the outpost, you would get more vision?
No.
Okay. But we do have a unit that has charge attack, so you can't rule anything out, people. Charge
What would
attack.
that be, like the forest ranger tech or something like that?
That would be, you know what? It seems more competitive than a charge attack, Dave.
That's true. That's true.
All
All right, so Avilo is looping around to this side, but he doesn't see that the zebra have been taken.
Yeah, now, I guess you wouldn't assume that they should be there. So he's just doing a loop-de-loop here, and I wonder, was that factored in by John? There's no way he factored in his mill position, so he wouldn't be spotted, right?
No, because you have no idea like where your enemy is going to be scouting here. And John needed to take this scout fight earlier rather than later, because pretty soon Vilo is going to change into a light cav.
But if he tries to save the scout, he's just going to show the enemy the villagers. Something that Vilo might not expect, but now he knows there's something there. So
why even bring him back there?
Yeah,
Seems weird.
I mean,
well, I
you
guess
still...
you're going to have a TC, so
yeah,
fine.
you know that he knows, and you're still melee, which should be the much better civ with a boom here, and that's exactly what we're seeing. A TC at home, a TC the foreign land to the east, and this will be all about eco. And for Ivilo, of course, this is a player who's looking very good to move on. He's going to go 3 TCs.
You've been doing well.
I've been doing better.
Really well today. Yeah.
It's gotten to the point where I don't trust myself anymore, so when I say it correct, I have to think about it. But yeah, there's the TC. What do you think about the TC, though? Because personally, I think having a TC on stone right now doesn't necessarily suit a booming build.
I would have liked it one tile closer to the gold, and then you're only one tile away from the stone and one tile away from the gold.
Okay. You might just... This is weird, man, because you don't need this much on stone right now, so I think he's going to pull farmers here. It does give Vilo a target, right? And he's got the light cav here. He's microing around nicely, and we'll try and loop around to the other side. Now, this is even at a point now where we all try and pretend like we don't know who these two players are. Or, actually, that's not true. Most people think they know, and I would agree with them. But as a caster, it's hidden identities, guys. We don't know who is who. Here come the light cav.
Are going to be very annoying. Like, John has to react right away when they start attacking something like a gate. You got to send villagers immediately, wall behind it. And then as soon as he walls behind it, he'll just shift focus to maybe the other gate or different palisade walls. He'll constantly have light cav looking for exposed villagers. And behind this, he's booming up with 3 TCs as well. So really solid build here from Avilo.
Yep. 10 vills behind. Some eco upgrades behind. Just a note on eco upgrades. That farm upgrade, that second one, Dave, came in really early here. And it actually led to Avilo idling his TCs for a bit. And that's something that the Viper's known for, is getting that second farm upgrade at this stage of the game. And he really believes that it is the better way to play it. But, you know, your TC goes idle and then you're up against melee. You are going to be way behind in villagers.
And now Vilo is kind of spreading his light cav out. He's got one on the relic to the left and one on the relic to the right.
Yeah.
Or was near the relic to the right. I think he's going out there with a monk fairly soon.
He's really worried about that scout that's out there.
And for good reason.
Does he see it? I think that's what he's going for. That's why he sent that light cap back. Yep, he sees it. He just doesn't want to lose these monks. And he doesn't want the enemy to get any relics. You can see in the minimap, guys, how he's camping those. Good point from that user on Reddit, by the way. I'm loving the chatter, man. I finished 10 hours, sorry, of casting. Immediately load up all the different socials and see what people are thinking about the games. Do you go for that monk there? Nah. I don't think there's any way that John can realistically take any monks out with that scout. As we see a 4th town center now.
Going for the mega boom. This time TCing the zebra. Interesting.
If he stonewalls that right side as we see a light cav blocking and nice pickoff, I really have some faith here in John the Fearless to tie this up. Just stonewall that side. You don't have the confidence to do that when you don't have military, but it'd be really cool for later on. And I think we'll start to see just why Malay are chosen so frequently, why you want to boom with them. Because with all this economy, I think John the Fearless will click up to Imp soon, Dave.
I do like the fact that Avilo is going to be getting the relic advantage. You really need that with Turks.
Yeah.
Turks is a civilization that struggles so hard if they have no gold. And now Avilo is going forward with a siege workshop on the right-hand side. But he has no loom. He's going to get killed by the lion unless he's careful.
No, this should be easy enough. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Lions are no problem when you can just build partial walls. Just Age of Empires things. And woo woo woo, as we call it here tonight. I know that everyone wants to say Viper confirmed, but truthfully, guys, that is... If someone in the top 16 didn't do that right there, I would be shocked. That should be an easy one. They do de-aggro once you place a palisade near them or over them.
And there's the siege workshop from John the Fearless, truly fearless, and he's going to run into the lion as well.
Okay, well, has loom.
Now Avilo can actually get out of there. that lets him get out.
You know what's crazy, though? I keep coming back to these defensive siege workshops from John, and I think John's making a really good play here. He knows that he's been greedy with the boom, and he needs to get map control before it's taken from him. And he has the siege workshop up before the enemy arrives with siege, and he's going to go into a pikeman push, so he's not going to go in. I think this is a really good call from John the Fearless, and I think that Avilo pretty soon is going to struggle against pike siege. So I could be wrong because now his 2 barracks are denied.
Yeah, kind of killing momentum with that one. Although the barracks on the left is going to get forced up. Monks are still looking for conversions. Does not have redemption, I don't think, so he can't convert the buildings.
It's funny how consistent this is between these players. Like, now you have a defensive castle. This is like, what, the 3rd time in 4 games we've seen John the Fearless boom and then try and drop a castle. And then there's siege here. Are they playing the same map every time? Micro important here, Dave. Really, really important, because that ideal castle spot is right where it was attempted a moment ago. And units into the TC, but the play here from John to take out monks with pikemen. It'd be a time for the Mangonel to pop out too, and he does. Can he get the other scorpion? Oh, that's good from John. That was very good for John.
Yep. Monk is still alive somehow.
Yeah, I guess you just let it there for now. Just, oh yeah, go back. Ah! He's dead. But now you've weathered the storm, and I have a sneeze here, excuse me, but he's about... Carry on, Dave.
Are you good? You okay? Or T90?
We're good. I had to sneeze, and it was just a really
okay.
bad time, so I wanted to be kind and, mute.
Avilo added a 4th TC, by the way.
Yeah, but
On the outside.
look at the eco expansion for John.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
crazy.
insane. And now he's on his way to Imp. Feels like this push on this right side did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Problem with Avilo.
And you're starting to question, like, the decision making here from Avilo. Was it really necessary to invest into that? Did you get any value really from your light cav? What is the advantage with Turks?
Yeah,
in this situation?
It's hard to say that you don't want to do that, though, because I don't see how else you can pressure the enemy. Maybe the middle, honestly. Maybe the middle was the way. But I think good players, when playing Malay, are always going to get these types of leads, and now it comes down to if Avilo can stall it out big time. What I think is poor for Avilo is the positioning of the archery ranges. Even maybe the positioning of that castle. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold this spot. And if he loses those buildings, he could just start losing everywhere.
I really like how he's stonewalling the left now.
Yep. That is a good move, just in case John wants to pressure that side. This will start to swing, and we have a castle for John, who's opening Halb, which I suppose isn't great against Cav Archer long-term.
I think you already had the pikeman, though. Maybe he was expecting more of an investment into cavalry in Castle Age. And if you already have the numbers and you have rams behind it, Halb ram is not really that bad, especially early. On the way to Imp now for Avilo.
Did you see that? Did John the Fearless complete supplies or hesitate about going for supplies? I think he might have misclicked. Dave, he doesn't know the castle's there. This is crucial timing. He would be making a treb if he knew. And now he finds out. Now he's got to back away. This is very important to start getting some trebuchets out.
Oh, and he's in on the left-hand side, too, right past the wall from Avilo.
There is a light cav there, which could kill those 4 villagers, though. And it all comes down to the recognition from both of them.
And now
also,
Castle in the middle here for John the Fearless, as Avilo is pushing in.
With a small force. Do not forget how weak palisade walls are there. And immediately after that, Avilo's going to wall the middle. So he figures, make him think I'm going to come with more. And this is going to be the end of it. Light Cav has found 1 villager, but there's still more over here. John the Fearless. And that wall will go down unless John gets more over here.
Okay, kind of a weird-looking army here for Avilo on the right side near this castle. 2 Scorpions, 2 Mangonels, some Cav Archers that aren't upgraded yet. He's just now getting to the Imperial Age. Ballistics coming in, which is good.
Looking very, very good for John the Fearless currently. Can he take out that castle? Malay, do not get Siege Ram. There are Mangonels behind. I think it's worth to eject the Halbs to take out the siege here. You just want to take out the castle.
Yeah, kill the siege first. Nothing can kill your Rams once those Mangonels are down.
He's microing the Rams underneath the castle. Now the Halbs come out. Oh, this is huge for John. He's got Trebs to back this up. And he's so confident he's going to drop his castle here before this one even goes down. What a big push for John the Fearless.
Yeah, that's a huge swing. Now that castle's gone, the production buildings are going to be in awkward positions if he wants to mass his Cav Archers from there, or his Bombard Cannons for that matter, as the Bombard Cannon goes down to the Halbs, and he's going to have to reposition everything. This is a huge momentum swing for John the Fearless.
The boom paying off here, and there's just so much blue, and now you have villagers on the other side, so there's no real control there. And I question the forward. I question the range position. Even that castle, you know, all of this was not something that Avilo could protect. John the Fearless might have just won this game, Dave.
I will say there's 1 Hussar over to the right side of the map, and it's killed about 12 villagers from John the Fearless. So raids, technically?
Yeah, raids, but should be something that's noticed. And then you've got Halbs killing villagers on the flip side. And this is just going to be Halberdier and Trebuchets at this point. John the Fearless is like, I don't need Hussars. I don't need Arbalest. I can do everything. Should take that castle out too. I was waiting for Bombard Cannons from Avilo, but he lost them. He just didn't have them in time.
Is that Hussar going to depopulate that entire area?
Come on, John the Fearless. If he loses this game, we'll look back at this moment, possibly.
Possibly, but it looks pretty good for him right now. I mean, he's getting that castle position there. Bombard Cannons are coming out for the Turk player, which can be dangerous if massed.
Yep.
Same story for the Cavalry Archers. But the problem for him is going to be massing them.
Avilo doesn't have stone right now. Completely out of stone. After losing the castle, he now has to buy stone to repair this. He's, of course, hoping to take out the siege with his Bombard Cannons. And the left side's a concern, right? Because John the Fearless actually has eco there now. And he's going to expand with buildings. So this is just a giant Avilo sandwich at the moment.
Hussar is still going.
What the?
This thing is a beast, dude.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, Dave, I still don't think that Hussar is going to be able to save the castle. And I don't think that Avilo can last if there's production coming in all around. Look, you even have Trebs and Halbs from the middle. All angles from John the Fearless. I feel like Turks are strong here. But against a good boom, how are you ever going to do damage? We saw that here.
Yep.
And I would say that Avilo, maybe the player more suited for the closed maps based on who we think these players might be.
If he does keep that... the castle's going to go down here, right? Yeah, castle's going down. I was going to say if he does keep that alive and mass his Cav Archers, there's a possibility, but...
Hussar
now with no castle, you're pop capped. Hussar's still going, though.
Hussar still killing villagers. If it wasn't for that Hussar, I don't think Avilo would have a chance. But nah, man, look at this. I guess he's repairing that Bombard Cannon. Maybe he can keep it alive, but he just has no space. And he's losing ground on the right. He's losing ground on the left. He must not have known that 4 villagers went through there, Dave. That's the only explanation.
Oh,
or why
no,
he
the
allowed them
Husker-
to build.
They ran into the castle. Shame. Oh, it's coming back to his base.
What did? Oh, the Hussar. Oh, it
Never
died.
mind, it dead.
F's in chat. Pay respects to the Hussar. The only thing...
Oh, Castle Foundation!
Dave, where? Oh, he lost another one?
He lost it to the bombard cannon. I'm pretty sure that was an attack round from Avilo. I'm
Okay.
fairly certain that was.
Well, the TC and villagers are going down. Like, I want to get excited about that. But that's 2 in a row where he's losing the Castle Foundations when he has the lead. And it's good for Avilo, but perhaps some worry here. The mental, the energy levels as you approach what will probably be the 5th game if this game does indeed get finished off. Again, I don't see how.
And now pressure through the middle as well. We got villagers coming through the middle. We've got halberders there. We've got a treb. Like, there's pressure from all sides on Avalio's base. If he somehow gets the Cav Archer mass in this game, maybe he could have made something happen, but I think it's too late now.
It maybe was a masterclass from John the Fearless to take a side at the start, because maybe with map control with Lightcav, what Avilo would have wanted to do was stonewall the sides, Dave. You get Lightcav on the sides when the enemy's just booming at their base, then you stonewall the sides, you keep them away from the side. But the way John the Fearless approached this was perfect, if you ask me. And then as I said, when the pressure came in, he actually was prepped to defend it, hit a massive eco lead, and the score is 2-2 in this semifinal.
I kind of think that Hussar kept him in the game longer than he should have been. Like, it legitimately killed 20 villagers over there.
It definitely did. I mean, there's no way that it didn't, and maybe that's also part of the reason why he was still playing on, because he probably noticed that and figured, well, it gives me more of a reason to try and hold on. If I hold on, I've just killed 20 vills. But man, what a treat here, Dave. I'll show you guys what the boom did. More food and more wood for John the Fearless, and that's pretty much all he needed. He did need some trebs and some rams. The Turks, they don't get skirmisher. Turks do not get their own halberdier. They need gold units, and then Avalio just didn't have the time.
I just question the Civ pick. Like, I still don't see... I know the Turk strategy has worked previously, but I still don't see how it's any better than some other civilizations.
Well, yeah, we've seen it work. So, for that reason, it makes me think that it's just how John the Fearless approached that game, you know? Anyways, I'm already ready for the next map because I've seen the map. It will be Quarry, and we will have a very similar approach from both players for game number 5. Just a reminder that many people here believe that we might have Viper versus Hera. And last time we saw these players play in a Hidden Cup was the finals of Hidden Cup 3, if it is them. And at the very least at this point, like we expected going into this tournament, Dave, if we are correct, the level is a lot closer now because those finals were a stomp. It was a 4-0 stomp. Wasn't even close. Here you have John the Fearless who's brought it back. Whoever he is, he's playing Vietnamese. And then we have Britons for Avilo.
We saw how well Britons did. In the first time we've ever seen this map earlier today, it's kind of seemed unstoppable. I mean, Sanjata did go for Spanish, and Vietnamese counter Britons, I think, a little bit better than the Spanish do.
There's some similarities between how Admiral, who's our finalist, who's waiting for the winner here, and Avilo draft. Like, we're seeing similar civs on bypass, similar civilization saved for Quarry. It really does feel like if Avilo were to make it to the final, he'd be facing up against someone he's trained with, which I suppose is when you have the top teams having the top players, it makes sense, but just something to keep in mind here. And I guess if John makes it, maybe John has already faced up against a lot of those strats if he were to beat Avilo.
Yeah, potentially. What do you think the opening is here for each player?
I think a Drush makes a lot of sense here. I think pre-mill barracks, getting militia onto the field and just fighting for control. Berries are always forward on this map. And so that's a spot that is deceivingly needed, I guess, and is high pressure area typically. So I don't think a lane would be very smart. Then again, Avilo tried it earlier. Don't think stealing that board would be very smart because he'll know the avenue you'll take back to your base.
He might find the sheep, though.
Okay. He sees the sheep. I guess you just hide them.
I mean, you can't really get them out.
Yeah.
Maybe if you sneak along that wood line, but here comes John Scout. He's gonna find them and he's gonna immediately engage.
Oh, what? He hit that sheep. Okay, so he kills the sheep. That's one way to do it. You can only kill sheep with your scout if it's close to the enemy and enemy's color, so it doesn't transfer ownership. But that, to me, it did look like a second hit there, and Vilo does take out the sheep. And it is rude, chat. It is rude. But also, I feel like John will be happy with the HP on his scout.
I think if John clicks those sheep away, Avilo can never do that.
Yeah.
Because he keeps the distance, then Avilo claims those sheep as his own, and he can't snipe them, right? But because he kept them still there, Avilo was able to snipe them, and that's negative 200 food.
Yep. Maybe John the Fearless likes to be lamed, because when he got lamed, it started his win streak. And Avilo, I again have to bring up, had a very, very poor follow-up. I think it's been his poorest game in the tournament so far. Can understand the greed, maybe, being up 2-0 at that time. Okay, we see the boar weakened by the TC with 4 in the TC, making my assessment completely wrong yet again.
Not a single player so far this tournament accidentally killing the boar with the TC.
Yeah. We have Dash, who casted with me earlier, says John the Fearless is Hera. Well, very bold guess there, Dash. He is, you can tell
really reaching. Yeah.
You can tell that Dash is in the big leagues, you know, with that prediction right there. Thanks for watching, Dash. Thanks for your input. So walls for Vilo, and maybe this is just into Archers, Dave. I was incorrect on my assessment. They did not go for a pre-mill barracks, but now, wait a second. John's sending a Vil. Does he want to fight this? It actually makes sense. You have a loomed villager against a loomed villager, and then a full HP scout versus a weak scout.
My question is, but why?
Why not, though? It could be a Vil kill.
It could be a Vil kill, or he could just send it back to the TC. He's trying it.
Yeah, and this is not something that's normally expected. So if you can block this, yeah, okay, maybe this is your point.
I ask the question, but why?
Well, he went back with the weak one again, Dave. He's got some confidence. And okay, now you've got a fresh villager, but still there's the scout there. I mean, it is annoying, but we see the Fulage on the way for Avilo.
Does he want to like lame the berries here?
Did you
is
see
that what he's thinking of?
He tried to make a palisade there, and Evalio made his own palisade first. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, and now the villager heads back, and what you accomplish with that is a ton of idle time for one villager.
All right, that's a fair point. I like the energy, though, you know?
I love that mining camp. Oh my god, for John the Fearless.
Oh!
That is a good-looking mining camp.
That is... do we have to look at something else? Because I really don't want to right now. I just want to spend a couple more seconds looking at that. That is efficiency.
Craigasm's in chat.
Now, John the Fearless is a little caught off by this, Dave. And I can see this being awkward for him because he's trying to wall. And in about 20 seconds, the enemy's going to be up. John the Fearless, wait a second. John the Fearless is staying in Dark Age and making militia. He's not expecting this to be man-at-arms from the enemy.
Defensive Drush. He does have more scout HP.
True.
So that will help him out here, but he gets an extra hit on him. The militia are trying to take down the villager, and I think they might get her. No.
It won't get her. The scout can run away. But you know what? If John the Fearless can just get the walls down, man-at-arms going to be in. Scout will be here as a distraction. About 5 seconds here, David. All starts to go down. Don't lose your scout. Oh, they both lose their scouts and man-at-arms is in, and the pressure will be on.
Yeah, the pressure is on. John the Fearless just now on the way to the feudal age, about 30% there, and Avilo is going to have units running around his economy. It's going to be... I don't think he's going to find any villager kills, but it's certainly going to be annoying.
Yeah, and it gives you momentum because both players are going to follow this up with archers. So there's already a range, and now Avilo can take the middle. I think this is a really poor position for John the Fearless to be in.
Yeah, especially with all that free food in the middle with the deer. It's super important to have control over that.
However, and this isn't brought up frequently, I'm sure Avilo will feel jealous of the mining camp And that might get in his head a little bit because that is gorgeous yet again. Whew.
He's thinking, damn, he's not going to have to invest an extra 100 wood to go to stone. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so far behind.
And then he's going to send an extra to wood at home. So when he needs to place 2, actually, you know what? It's fine. But Dave, the archers are here. There's a tower there. It's going to be on the berries. That's going to go up. Just really feel like momentum is not there for John. And John will have to abandon these berries.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to follow this tower up with anything, really. He can just send these villagers back.
Yeah.
Collect the deer, and then just casually collect some stone when he's on his way to the castle age for those extra TCs.
He's actually not going to stone.
Ooh, he's just gonna push in here.
I think he wants to maybe force a reaction. It is ironic that John might go to stone because of this, but yeah, he just wants to break through so he can get his archers in. And now he's gonna take the deer. So.
Okay, so archers and men-at-arms, a much more dangerous composition here than just pure men-at-arms in the base.
Yep. Blacksmith
and he can
will go
loop
up
around
Ooh.
potentially to that woodline. Nice little cheeky gate there from John the Fearless. It's not gonna keep him out for very long, but
it's confidence though, right? You know, it's showing the confidence that John the Fearless has. Fletching about to be in for John as he will make skirmishers. Vietnamese very good against Britons if they get enough skirms out, but oh, this is the problem for the lumberjacks. They actually cannot. They're forced to tank arrow shots because the skirms can't get there to save them right now, Dave.
Yeah, because the men-at-arms are still in play. They're chasing after those, and a villager is going to go down. The archers are running away from the skirms. The men-at-arms are chasing, and that's tons of idle time there for John the Fearless, plus the villager kill. Really good start for Vilo here.
And he can take his berries, can't take his hunt, but it is fascinating when we're talking about John, because John just wants his farms, from what we've seen. So his transitions into farming eco sets him apart. And Men-at-arms still getting so much value, buying so much time. And the archers, I think, will go down now, but this villager could go down.
Avilo spots weak vills on that stone.
Ooh, the archers get trapped there. And now it's coming back for this vill. You've got to save that, John. Quick walls. Ah, that won't go down.
Nope.
Okay.
I also like how John has taken his drush and put one militia on either side of the woodline.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could chop through there at some point if you're Avilo. We have Avilo with an archer inside the tower. Has been freely taking the deer, Dave. And look at the follow-up here. House walls. A stone gate. This tells me that Avilo wants to take this up to the next age and make it about those crossbows.
Yeah, it tells me he's interested in military number over the boom. I mean,
see how annoying he's being? He actually hopped out with that one unit. Yeah, military over the boom is a good idea.
She's gonna make it back perfectly fine.
Isn't
Lots of weak villagers though for blue. If he ever gets in there with any more units,
yeah,
could be in trouble.
Is it surprising to you at this point that John the Fearless is able to macro his way up to Castle Age, or is it just expected after what we've seen?
I think it's expected, and especially since there was more pressure from Avilo, I think with like the Men-at-Arms upgrade and the opening, it's probably easier at this stage for John the Fearless to get there quicker.
Yeah, and the difference here will be that one player will have the stone to click up to the next stage. Or what am I? I'm sorry, I just combined two phrases. One player will have the stone to go for town centers, is what I meant to say. And I think we know that John the Fearless loves to go for town centers, so.
Someone in chat, like, with a notepad, like, I didn't know you need stone.
He, like, didn't have his blacksmith, and he thought his game was bugged, and he restarted it. And then he's like, oh, I needed stone. Oh, I forgot about that. All right. Well, only one range, so my assessment's actually incorrect here. I really would like to see two ranges.
He's going to stone now. He's going to stone now. And he's looping a villager to the left side. Is he going to put an outpost on each of these? One vill going to each side.
I hope he's not trying to chop both sides, because that's a little bit too... that doesn't seem like a great play.
I think it's outpost.
Okay. All right. So just to know if the enemy's going to chop through that line of trees to work their way around. Can you believe that on the only other game that we've seen, we saw a player get to Warwolf, Trebuchets, and Paladins? Or not both, you know. You know what I meant.
That's why players didn't want to play this map. You know, they figured out that it comes down to the Civ draft at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and
You can camp it out with Britons. It's a pretty strong option.
like we just saw so many in the practice games. It was just Aztecs and Spanish and YOLO civs, but it's pretty insane. Both these guys think archer civs are the way, and we see crossbowmen and bodkin and an immediate TC. I think this is going to go late, Dave. There will be a big boom for both players.
Yeah, kind of questioning that stone gate for Avilo because it delayed his TC a little bit, and he was forced to go out to stone with like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But still, he's going to get that second TC up at a decent time, and he's going to get the third one up pretty soon here. Britons are crazy with their cheap TCs.
It's pretty greedy for John, too, but I refuse to doubt the greed. You see him getting armor already, so I guess he's going to shoot towards getting elite skirms on the field. But these crossbows are going to break in for Vilo, and he also will have a siege workshop there. So I think Maganel crossbow should do quite well against just the skirmishers.
Ready.
Crossbow's not going to be able to find anything here. If he manages to loop around to the far left, maybe, but I doubt he wants to go that far in.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he hasn't really seen anything from John the Fearless. For all he knows, there could be an army behind here somewhere.
All right. Paying close attention to everything. Now, it's a bit risky to get near the town centers when they have a flag on it against John, because he hides the skirms in there. He's also got some skirms in the range, but they're not elite yet. And Vilo, with some confidence, I'd say, to push over here, because he could have so easily been scared of that.
Yeah, and he can camp this whole area. That's like 8 farms, the gold, and the stone that you're cutting off.
And the wood now.
Just by sitting there. And the wood gets pulled away too, so you can see the advantage of military pressure, right? Even if it's not killing any villagers, it's forcing John the Fearless to react, it's forcing idle time. And here comes a Mangonel from the middle here, and Mangonel with crossbows in the back of the base seems pretty good against elite skirm.
How many times have we seen this? Vilo pushing in, coming forward with siege, John the Fearless defensive siege workshop. I mean, it hasn't always been crossbows, but this is just the theme of this set. And look at these crossbows. They might just maneuver their way back over, or they might not actually. Nope, just kidding. Okay. Defensive siege workshop goes up for John, which is important here. He needs to get his own Mangonels to take out the enemy Mangonels.
Good pressure from Avilo. And remember, he's still on stone behind this, Tristan. He's got like almost 300 stone. So if at any point he takes a good engagement and feels like he can safely plop a castle in a forward position, he has that option.
This is probably one of the few maps where I think someone like, let's say, Viper would drop a forward castle, because if you drop it in the middle, it's at the bottom of the hill, which doesn't feel too good.
Okay, Mangonel coming forward from John the Fearless. Let's see the micro.
Remember the cross game when Avilo, I mean, that was a long one, but he didn't have the repairville? I think he needs to repair this. He's got to have a villager there. And we see a stable for John. So he's thinking about knights as he loses a bill, but he hasn't lost many. This is so intense, man. The level is so high.
Knights are a pretty good option here, especially if you have skirmishers, elite skirms behind to back it up.
Yeah.
As he's micring against Mangonels again.
Sick stuff. And now sending villagers to take out this Mangonel, which could end up working out, actually. And he could also cut off the crossbowman, Dave.
He's going to do it.
Oh my god, the play from John! The villagers worked out, and now the crossbowmen are kind of trapped in here. There's no Mangonel. It's the repair villager that's needed. The repair villager's needed, otherwise this happens. John the Fearless says, get out of here.
The confidence from John the Fearless to see crossbows that he wants to trap on one side and a Mangonel coming from the other side. Ignore the crossbows for the time being, split around the Mangonel shot, and then clear them up afterwards. That was fantastic.
Yep. A stable also might be a little bit of a surprise. If the crossbow numbers are as low as they are, might be able to justify taking some map control with some knights, maybe even an elephant. But Vilo is back. It is 72 villagers for Vilo, 68. And again, the theme is one player sitting back in their base, the other player trying to be aggressive. As MBL would say, it's a war game, guys. The objective is to fight. I see armor on the way, Dave.
constantly idling resources.
Yeah.
Like these farms at the front have been idle more than they've been worked on. That gold is idled. There's a couple more farms to the left. The berries still haven't even been fully collected. And behind this, Avilo is just comfortably booming on 3 TCs. And he's got enough stone for a castle now.
Yeah, now, I don't think this is a spot where forward castle's good, personally. I think taking some losses, the confidence there for John. I don't think he sees the stable, and oh my goodness, that shot!
Nice shots.
That was from miles away, Dave. He could get another one here. Doesn't. Predicts the split, and good engagements here for Avilo. Still
Fantastic
no castle.
attack rounds. The last two were really, really good from Avilo. Like you said, predicted that split with the skirmishers. Sometimes you get a little bit too cute, you know?
Yeah. See a monastery or university, another stable, another range. John the Fearless perhaps a bit worried now and feels the need to get production. But just like in that melee game, I think it's wise to produce a lot right now. Do not just try and go imp here. Try and clear this up and then go imp.
1,100 stone in the bank, and I see villagers coming forward. Where is it going to go?
Well, you see it right there, Dave. This is some crazy timing, though, because Chain Barding is going to be in on knights, and there's enough knights. I don't think this castle's going to go up, Dave. I really think Avilo is going to make a big mistake here.
Some risky business. He's got about to be 5 knights garrisoned in that stable. He's got a defensive mangonel, too. The castle foundation is up. Blue, can he see that? Yes, he can.
There's 3 mangonels here, Dave. The skirms did have to hop into the town center. Town center's just being repaired constantly.
Oh, this is tense. Oh my god, this could be the game-changing moment right here.
Also, Avilo is on the way to imp. Don't you have to engage this if you're John? You're investing so much. I'm surprised he hasn't come out.
He's waited for so long. Like, did he forget that he had the knights?
I guess Avilo's in a great position then. I mean, I'm not saying that with +2 knights against Britain crossbows, it would necessarily be okay. But I can tell you one thing, if that castle goes up, it's not okay.
Yeah, and that's a stepping point to another castle, because he's still got 750 stone in the bank.
Yeah. If that is... I don't know if the word passive fits there, but that to me is very weird, because the game just feels over if you lose that much map control. The enemy's not making knights, so they're never going to be able to... you know they're going to be in Imperial Age faster because they're not spending food and gold. And now you just lose 2 TCs too. So that's just like, what?
2 TCs and access to that other gold. There's no way you're getting to the middle currently.
Yeah.
So the only gold you have is like the 3 tiles in the far corner and then those 3 tiles that haven't been mined right next to your castle.
All right, so ladies and gents, game 5 in a 2-2 semifinal. Vilo versus John the Fearful. Castle will go update, but that's just a treb target right there, if you ask me.
Yeah, and where's the second castle coming from red? I think he's sold some stone. Maybe placed another TC.
Can't you all in Castle Age this in like some crazy world with Knights and Rams?
I don't know once these get upgraded to Herbalist.
Yeah,
I'm
and then
not
the
sure.
3 Mangonels, 3 Mangonels wouldn't do it. And I guess that's what John was thinking. He probably realized, oh shoot, I needed to engage against that earlier. He had only 2 Rams, and with 2 castles there, that would have been it. That was I guess another game where Avilo has dominated with aggression, right?
Yep. I mean, John the Fearless, we've seen the defensive capabilities. Like, he can hold on while other players would be completely crushed. But if he gives Avilo an opportunity, Avilo will take it and run with it to the victory.
Especially because he microed so well in that one instance against Maganel with skirms. Very shocking to see the lack of confidence to try and just toss away knights against Mangos. Because even if there's a Mangonel or 2 left, well, 2 would be horrible, but I don't know. I expected a bit more there for John, who has played a great set and could always respond. My goodness, thank you, Charipa, for the 50 gifted. Dave, I'm actually going to skip past the statistics here because, ladies and gents, we have this semifinal to complete, and then we have a final, and then we have a reveal of all the players in this tournament. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part, but we should continue. The next game will be on the home map, the final one for John the Fearless, and we have Celts against Japanese.
Celts against Japanese, and the map is going to be Cup. A super exciting map here. And I think the last few games of Cup we've seen have been Celts against Britons. But Celts against Japanese, very interesting Civ matchup.
Yeah, a matchup where Japanese can scale quite well up against the Celts. Celts were a very common pick here in the past. You have your wood bonus, which can lead to a lot of docks and a lot of infantry, but Japanese infantry is the stronger of the two in straight-up fights. And I'd say really just depends on how you're going to play this. Now, I think that John the Fearless needs to be aggressive here, Dave. I don't think that he can just sit back and wall and play with archers against Celts. That is just asking for trouble. So I don't know what it's going to be, but in general, go aggressive, John.
Didn't he do that yesterday, though? Sit back and wall and...
But with Britons,
Celts?
though. With Britons, though. Like, you have that extra range in the cheap TCs. Yeah, it's true. How can you argue with being close to this Evilo player when you play the way you play? But to explain how it works, you have the water on the right side here. If you dock here, you can make fishing ships, you can make navy, but you cannot cross over. And then on the left side, it's the same deal. More to control here, but then you don't have the body of water controlled between yourself and the enemy. We have seen everything on this map, and we've seen some incredible games featuring John the Fearless here.
Dude, we were creeping up towards 60K last game for viewers. That's insane.
Yeah, I haven't really been looking. Once we passed Hidden Cup 3's record, I was very happy with that. No doubt that when we had Twitch front page, it was helping a little bit. But guys, I'm so proud of how many people have shown up here today because the front page spike last year was extremely obvious. We'd have like 30,000 and then boom, 50,000 record. This feels like natural viewership. I don't know where you came from, but I'll save the feels for later. Thanks for being a part of this. And again, the support too. Dave, the fact that the prize pool is closing in on 85,000 because of the sub count is also nuts.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. That is nuts.
I think we'll see a barracks here because we see a house on the front. Makes me think it could be a barracks or a dock for Vilo.
I think for John the Fearless, you have to... Oh, he's going into barracks right away. You have to go into water of some kind, right? If you're going to be Japanese?
Maybe.
Like, do you not want to take advantage of your bonuses?
Which game was it? It was actually Philip the Good versus John the Fearless yesterday. Do you remember when Philip the Good went for the dock and then his fishing ships got all idled because of a drush?
Mm-hmm.
Like, after seeing that, I really feel like docking first is a poor move here. Now, I'd love to be proven wrong, but if the militia come out, I mean, they can harass villagers and fishing ships in a second.
Yeah, I think it might not be that bad if you use your dock in conjunction with the villagers to collect the food, right?
Okay.
Because then you have another potential unit to push the drush away. Also, Japanese dock with Japanese fish, like the drush is gonna have 120 hits to take one of those things down.
That's true. Yeah, maybe another reason to dock with Japanese, like you said. But Vilo scouts that the militia are going to be coming, so he'll know he's got the eco lead with a fishing ship. And the action's about to begin here. Yeah, he either fights back with villagers, or he gives up the area and then loses fishing ships. John should be as annoying as possible here. And wow, look, falling back, making a barracks now is Vilo. And Vilo is also going to get pop capped here, Dave. So the pressure's on.
And the pressure is on. We're seeing the weakness potentially of the fish, and those militia, they know the fishing ship is probably out there somewhere, but they can just hang out near the dock and wait for it to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he's going to loop around instead.
This is just a good spot for John to be in. And I'm just waiting for 3 villagers to be pulled the wall. Just waiting for it. It's going to be like boop, boop, and boop pretty soon. And that's the noise if you have the boop mod. That goes off when you wall in game, so don't make fun of me.
Good pre-walls here from Avilo. I'm wondering why John the Fearless left that dock position. And he's not even looking for the fishing ships with like his scout or his militia. It feels like there's nowhere really else to hit.
Scouts, 15 HP versus 15. Well, now he's figured that out, Dave, right? I guess he needed to know for certain that he couldn't do damage.
But there's going to be militia from Avilo here, and if he manages to protect that fish economy,
Yeah.
suddenly he's looking really good opening with the dock.
And then you could argue maybe you dock the left side too and get extra greedy with fishing ships because you have the
Yep.
militia to match the enemy. So the way this has gone, I do like Ilo's position, right? He can get back on fish. John hasn't punished that too much, but John, I think we'll go feudal here. Will go feudal. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go feudal. It's kind of like this. This is definitely planned from Avilo, right? Like fishing ships into defensive drush. Your drush is going to be out a little bit later, but if you keep your fish alive, then you'll have increased food economy over your enemy.
Wondering if John is just going to make more militia here, right? You're going to see some villagers over to gold. Might even see a dock, and we will see a dock on the other side for John. Now, again, you can't cross over with Navy if you're Avilo to deny anything there in the future.
He's going for a dock of his own, I think, in the middle.
Ooh. Okay. Now, that could be scouted, and John's got the higher HP scout right now, but nothing can really deny that except the militia.
I like how he goes all the way to the other side of that island, too. He
That is
knows
sneaky.
that John is running around here with his army somewhere, and he's likely to find that.
He's
So
in
go
a
to the other side of the island and dock.
He's in a weird spot economically, though, because you probably want to have a lot of wood and gold for archers and or navy, and now he's got all this food, and I feel like he's not going fast castle, so he's got to transfer it up a little bit here. He doesn't have the wood for the dock yet, and we
Is
see
he
a dock
making
for
a
John.
dock with her? Or is this the max?
Max has come in here. The real hidden cup. We don't tell you which players get subbed out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's really indecisive, dude. Like, whatever she's building probably needs to wait till feudal age, apparently. Oh, no, she's going back over here. Okay.
Okay.
I'd say...
Avilo still has the drush, by the way. So he still has some units to defend against the men-at-arms. He's going to
yeah.
have to pull these villagers back once again, and his fishing economy is kind of idled. But he will see the dock from John the Fearless.
A little sloppy there for Avilo, and great move from John, who just sneaks in there, blocks the Vil, gets the kill. There's the range. We have the double dock on each side for John. Not something that really fits his MO, Dave. I think that he would probably... I mean, historically, he's gone into archers here, right?
Yep. And he's going to hit the fishing economy from Avilo. Avilo did notice the dock from John.
Okay.
But John just noticed the dock from Avilo, and he's trying to be very annoying with that villager. Now he's looping the men-at-arms over there, too.
Oh, and the scout kill there. So I'm liking John's position. Fishing ship's just kind of going around. Another fire could all but clean this up on this side. And we even have a fishing ship already for John. But man-at-arm engagements. Oh, don't do that. Don't lose your scout. John. That wasn't
Yeah,
worth
now
it.
that Vil can get back. Yeah, I think he forgot that the scout was on 1 HP. He's like, oh, I'm going to block it.
Yeah, maybe.
But she just stabbed and the scout went down. I'm very surprised that he got the men-at-arm upgrade of Ilo. Was there a purpose to that?
Well, with Celts, I don't mind it. You know? You're probably assuming the enemy's going to be walled. And what is this wall? Dude, he was worried about the man-at-arms, I think. Look at these tiny walls from John.
Yeah, crazy.
But-
And oh my god, Avilo is actually took that 1 HP men-at-arm and he put it into the TC. And he's going to heal it up.
What?
The little things, right?
He's
And now
healing
killing
it?
the villager.
Oh, my goodness.
He's killing the villager in the north, the dock villager.
Yeah, Dave. He's also going to take out the fishing ship here.
So I asked why the upgrade, and he's
He's like, I'll
kind of
show
making
you.
me-
I have a plan for that.
Exactly.
It is rather funny, actually. He's got 2 fires on the left side. Japanese fishing ships feel impossible to kill. But 2 fires, 2 men-at-arms against just 2 fires. So the value's there. Plus, they're pretty speedy.
He got a demo in on the men-at-arm attacking his dock and the fire ship as well. He's trying to chase it down. Won't quite do that. Trying to save his fishing ship, which he does on 1 HP.
It's a little bit of value, but if this fire ship is man, this is very all these tiny little moments here. Look, you've even got the repair villager here, but the repair villager is going to survive, and now the ships need to go back. What a weird game, man. And they have to do everything else. How do they do it?
tiny little advantages, right? You're just trying to find them with these small engagements in feudal age. Looking at the economy behind this, Avilo looking pretty good with his resources, and similar economy for John the Fearless. Just
Yeah.
adding farms right now.
I mean, I suppose on water, if you look at the numbers, John's got a slight lead there. But he doesn't have an archer range, and he does have less food banked, and maybe it's just the fishing ships for Avilo having paid off a little bit. It's weird with Celts. Like, you chop wood so fast, you might as well toss a couple hundred wood into fishing ships, even if you lose them, right?
Nice demo from Avilo on the pond at the bottom. Weakening some fire ships, but another repair villager coming out from John the Fearless, and that repair villager is fearless indeed.
Need another demo here in a second. Do you commit to the water? I guess they're both going to be on the way up soon. I think committing to the water might make sense. I don't know.
I think the fact that he has a dock on 234 HP and nothing else
True.
tells me he's not really committing.
But don't
to
you
water.
want to at least act like you're going to stay on water? Like, repair that a bit more?
I'm wondering what this villager is doing on the right side for Vilo, and he's still got a men-at-arm and archer at the back as well.
He's probably really confused to see the wall is not to the edge. I think that's the first time I've seen that from John the Fearless. John the Fearless will be a minute behind at Castle Age. If John the Fearless loses this game, is out of Hidden Cup 4, and Vilo goes on to the finals to face the Admiral. And I'd say slight edge for Vilo here, Dave. And we know how devastating Celts can be.
Stable.
Whoa.
Stable, and he's on stone. He has 400 stone right now, Tristan.
What? Why does he have 400 on stone? That's so weird.
All in. Stable, castle drop? Question mark?
Okay. Well, I mean, the way that Evalio is setting up here is he's kind of giving up on areas that will be crucial. I feel not doubling down on either of the pawns, and now kind of committing towards a one villager push. If this doesn't do damage, if it doesn't surprise John, it could be somewhat problematic. But you know what? It'd be very much like John to build a TC over here in a second. That'd be kind of funny.
Yep, and stable siege workshop. He also has the war galley upgrade, so it is going into water pressure. The dock is just going to research it, I think, before it goes down.
And he won't have a dock remaining, though. That's so weird. Doesn't have a
He can
lot
add
on
one
food.
at any point, though. I think that gives him options, right? And he has three fire ships on the ocean right now.
Okay. This is, I mean, I wouldn't expect it if I was John. That's for sure. He doesn't have a scout. I'd love to see him add one out of one of the stables. Because he's going to go 2 stable knights, and he has a lot of food.
I think you have
use
to
of some fish, too.
You really have to wait with this army at the back until you have enough. Maybe like 3 knights, mangonel, and like a monk on the way before you attack. Don't
Man.
give John the Fearless any clue that you're back here.
What a crazy way to win a series, too. Hey, now I guess those houses are going up because John was about to get pop capped. And surprise! Is it going to work out here? 1 villager down. Let's see what the reaction looks like. Should at least be 1 more, you'd figure. Oh, microing them. Okay. And the TC now? Micro. Wow, great job from John here, Dave.
Yep. Well, I mean, decent value already, killing 3 villagers and really distracting him.
Yeah.
It's just, how do you deal with the knights once he sends in 4 or 5 of them? I guess he does have a monk now on the field. Siege workshop going up forward.
Oh my, wait a second. Knights from John inside the eco. There were no walls in the front. There's nothing on the front.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So the vill counts are kind of trading evenly here. Vilo, again, his eco looks disastrous. He doesn't have the farming eco. He doesn't have the water. If this push doesn't work, Dave, I think we're going to a game 7 and the villager that we brought up repair villagers so frequently goes down. But will the TC
Another
be
monk on
in
the
here?
way. No more mangonels on the way, and no more knights either. So he's gonna have, what, 2 monks, 2 mangonels, and 3 knights?
Yep.
Not a super scary push.
You need every single conversion you can get here. And the food eco is still looking good for John. He's adding fishing ships. He's even going to build a 3rd TC in the middle, Dave. I think this is really fragile for Vilo right now.
Yeah, kind of still questioning the War Galley upgrade.
Well, just the strategy in general seems way too all in against a player who's so good at defending. And to not have food eco behind it when you're trying to go for this too is questionable. As the
Look
scout,
at that scout moving around. Picks off a monk. He does get a conversion, but the mangonels are going to go down. The monk is going to go down. And now it's just knights left over.
now it's 55 villagers against 46. Water control on either side, and John says, "You don't eat my TC, I eat your TC." There's literally nothing at home for Vilo to defend from this Mangonel push.
Yep, all his production buildings were forward. He added a third TC, and he does still have enough stone for a castle. We were talking about that for a while.
Yeah.
How he was on stone. So maybe he can opt for a defensive castle. It's going to be tough, though, because the spot you want to put it is probably where that mangonel, or near where that mangonel is sitting right now.
Scouts are just looking, man. They know, but I think you just have to give up on those buildings. What a big investment there.
Okay, looped his knights around back. Only +1 on those. No bloodlines, obviously, because it's Celts.
But it's such a good decision to run in. The enemy has forward buildings. Of course they're not going to have anything here. Beautiful quick wall from Ivilo. And now maybe John the Fearless is thinking about having his own monks. Doesn't have them to defend the siege. I think that mango goes down, Dave. And one knight... That's worth it. One knight goes down, and now a defensive castle for Ivilo.
Yep, defensive castle and a 4th TC, Tristan.
Okay, so I think at this point, there's some huge negatives for Ivilo, but he knows that, and he's just like, well, looks like it's a boomer game, and he's just going to go monks, castle, and try and fit... Like, realistically, how many farms can you even fit back here, Dave? This is going to be the tiniest economy ever.
Yeah, gonna be playing Tetris back here with farms. Trying to squeeze them into every little space. But yeah, I think he realizes that he's so far behind at this point. The only way back is for him to overboom and hope that John the Fearless can't find places to do damage.
Yeah. I like how John is fearlessly running in, though, because he doesn't see anything. There's no reason for him to not make these dives, and now he'll see the TCs, but I think he'll recognize that the eco's not there to back up these TCs, just based on the scoreline right now.
I like that. John is fearlessly running in. Good
Yeah,
job.
not bad. Well, thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Thank you. Woad Raiders are complete trash as a Castle Age unit, and Imperial Age with Elite, they're very strong. I see a market. I mean, that's actually precious farm space. If this doesn't tell you how bad it is for Ivilo right now, I don't know what will.
Yeah, +2. Doing so much damage, not even fletching on these TCs. That's why the Knights are tanking so much against the TC fire.
Yep. And John, of course, Japanese, will probably want to make a switch at some point into something else. I think soon we're going to see villagers on stone for John, as he will think about a castle, maybe Imperial Age, maybe Samurai. We'll see the monks, or soon we'll see monks heal up knights in the middle area, Dave. What do you do in Red's position? I mean, you fight on, of course.
It's tough, right? I feel like you have to get up a castle somewhere, maybe to the north side of your base, secure there, and then work your way into... God, what do you go? Because the Japanese are going to switch it, most likely switch into either archers or infantry at some point, but you don't know which one he's going to opt for.
It sounds crazy, but I think your best play is to go pike siege push to get the middle back right now. He doesn't really have the eco for it, but if you just try and boom to imp, you get destroyed. So if you can just somehow take map control back with a bunch of pikemen and siege, maybe there's a possibility. But being behind 20 vills and seeing the resources for John, as John's about to... this is a barracks, so thinking about champion, I mean...
You could try for water control if you get a castle along the shoreline.
Yeah, you could get a castle along the shoreline, get the docks up. It's just not really the order you want to play in, to have the stone for a second castle at this stage. Now you see John going to stone. He's going to have a nice progression here into an economic Imperial Age with castles.
Well, Avilo's going for his second castle, and he almost has enough stone for a third one soon. So we'll see how he follows this up. He went to stone so early, man.
Dude, the fact that he, as that unit goes down there, the fact that he has only 4 on stone and is about to have the stone for a third, tells you just how early he was on stone and how heavy he was. All right, well, 0 relics collected for either player for John the Fearless. This might be a nice feeling at the moment, as you feel like you might be heading towards a game 7 against a player you might have struggled to beat time and time again over the last year. That is if our guesses are correct.
He kind of answered my question there, whether he's going for archers or infantry. You're definitely not teching into like all the cavalier upgrades, so he's going to go into champion for the late game, which seems like a really good decision for Japanese against kilts.
Isn't the final game... Yeah, the final game is set on Mudflow, by the way, ladies and gents, if we get there. Which, to me, there's certainly a chance for Rivalio if he goes Woads against champions. Woads are strong, but we see a castle in the middle now for John, as both players get a relic at pretty much identical times, and it will be probably Trebs here then? Trebs and champions, I guess, for John?
Looks like it. He's already massing almost to the Imperial Age. Avilo is up to the next stage. He's still booming, though. So he's going to need some time.
Yeah. I think the reasoning for John going for the barracks, and John has done this all tournament, is just the production, so we can get units out faster. Samurai do produce rather quickly, and Elite Samurai is way better than getting just champion. But Japanese champions still do... Oh, God. There you go, Valio. But yeah, Japanese champions still do attack faster and do pretty good against Woads. This scout could do real damage here on the left side. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. The tank.
Scout getting some value there.
I'd laugh if he researched Lake Cav right now. That'd be so funny. Okay, we'll get a kill. And it's going to run away, and that thing will not do much anymore, but it did delay. And now you have the Knights coming over, Dave, and these is against regular Woad Raiders. The Knights will actually be insane here.
Yeah, the Knights trade really, really well against them, and I think Avilo needs to just save his numbers. Maybe quick wall these villagers in here.
Oh, what a play there.
Beautiful.
What a play. And another castle now. But yeah, this is the main problem. It's all caught up with Evalio now. 2 castles in the middle for John. You can build on that terrain. He's going to start trebbing down the castles that Red's going to need to make Woad Raiders. And Two-Handed Swordsman is already in.
Well, the problem with Woad Raiders in this situation is that John the Fearless can easily switch into a unit that just destroys Woad Raiders.
Yeah.
Like even non-elite Samurai trade really well with elite Woad Raider. That's how good their attack bonus is.
Maybe that's the thought process behind the YOLO earlier. You know, like, I cannot compete with this Civ later. Let's try and end it early Castle Age, and it just didn't come together.
Yep, he's doing a good job hanging in there, though. Quick walling his gold so the Knights couldn't get in. He's keeping his Woad Raider mass up. He's getting the elite upgrade now. And he's going to go for the raids, which I think is probably the right call here. You can't really engage against that main army. Try and hit the economy and hope you can outlast the push from blue.
Kind of a catch-22. It might be rough either way. But, you know, there's exposed area here because John's expecting to see a response. Problem is the Knights are now in on the gold, Dave. Villagers did go down there. The castle will go down. They are elite Woad Raiders. There's so many champions. Just 55 military for John. That's all.
And John the Fearless notices that raid right away. Pulls him away. Does the house wall thing behind.
What? That's cute, man. The TC might honestly stay up here, depending on repairs, garrisons, Woad Raiders.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. I got confident for John.
Maybe.
But Dave.
No.
Champions destroying the castle now. We're going to a game 7 in this semifinal. There's just no way.
This semifinal has been absolutely insane, and John the Fearless doesn't even care anymore. He knows he has the superior unit on the field, superior economy, and production, and he's just going to push right through that castle into Avilo's economy, and Avilo's going to call the GG. Game number 7 on the way. It's been a long day, but god damn, the games have been good.
Seriously. See, I went into Hidden Cup 4 remembering that in Hidden Cup 3, we had a 12-hour day. And it was in the quarterfinals last year. I'm happy that it's on the final day this year. It is truly fitting. The first semi was insane. This last semi's been even better. And a final and the big reveal, of course, coming up after this ends. But Dave, we know what map it's going to be. I will briefly look at the economy tab. I think it was an awful approach from Ivalio. It's very weird to see him dominate and then go for such lackluster strategies. Whereas John, I think, has genuinely been more consistent throughout the series economically. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. But that's also like a byproduct of being the more defensive player, right?
True.
And also to Avilo's credit, I think he might have been expecting John to go into an archer play there rather than knights. So when he went for that siege knight monk push, that would work a lot better against archers than against the knight mass from double stable from John.
Mudflow, one of the new maps we introduced in between the qualifier and the main event, map that I believe has been practiced, and a map that, believe it or not, after all these games, both players have good civs for. Sorry, Teuton fans, we won't see Teutons. And sorry, Frank fans, we won't see Franks. It will actually be Khmer against Indians, Dave, to settle who moves on to that final. And a final where I think both players are going to be... Maybe this is too harsh because Admiral's been a beast, but I feel as though both of these players should be slight favorite at least going into it. And this is the map. We're 30 seconds into game number 7. I cannot believe we're here. We have Ivailo playing as the Khmer against Indians, Dave, and I think it's a pretty solid matchup.
Yeah, Khmer obviously pretty favorable on this map just because you can't farm around your TC. So having the farms that can drop off anywhere is really, really nice. Also, their transitions are pretty good. Indians, on the other hand, cheap villagers, you have the opportunity to go into camels. There's a lot of things you can do with that civilization, and you're gathering the fish next to the TC very quickly.
I personally, I mean, those bonuses are good, but I'm a little surprised to see that we have not seen Red go for Franks here. I like Franks because of the scout opening, the extra berries, and all the farm bonuses. But I suppose if it gets messy, Khmer the go-to.
Mm-hmm. Also, Franks, we saw it with Sunjata, right? With the cheap castles.
Yeah.
It's another underrated bonus for this map when you want to take control of that middle area. It's really, really nice if you can build a castle for a cheap price.
Yep. Scout has gone forward rather early here. And I think John actually spotted that the scout had gone by that villa as he was going out to chop wood. So doesn't want to get lamed here. Could steal a rhino potentially. I don't think it's that important. I think it's just important to know where the enemy's at. And seeing as this is the final day of Hidden Cup 4, I would be a fool not to mention Twitch Prime again, guys. If you want to sub, it goes towards the prize pool, towards the channel, towards all the hype. Thank you. Okay, is he going to steal it? If he steals this, he has nerves of steel. Nope, not going to do it. I thought he might go for it there, Dave.
Yeah, he just spots it, turns around, comes right back, and John the Fearless is going immediately to the south of the map. Why? Aren't you always like right across from your opponent here?
Not always. It's a little awkward. I think that's probably why some players scout so early but don't steal resources. It's just so they want to know where the enemy is. Both players also building their lumber camp towards the larger chunks of wood, I guess. You know, like there's that thin area in the middle and both players avoiding that. So they are relatively far from each other. But you can go for docks here, guys. You can make navy. You could also see land aggression and another player seeing a rhino and thinking twice about stealing. So no laming here. Both players taking no risks here in the final game.
Yeah, Vilo had an opportunity to hit the villager that was building the mill for John the Fearless. And I can tell he kind of thought about it, and then he turned away.
Yeah.
He doesn't want a weak scout. He wants all the information he can get.
And people are so torn in this community right now. The people who aren't even speaking, thank you to the new subs, by the way, but the people who aren't even speaking are torn. They're just, some people are saying, oh man, I really want to see a new person be a champion of Hidden Cup. And there's other people who are like, come on, Viper, if that is you, do it again. You know, Dave? Such a fine mix right now. But it is crazy to at least recognize that if it is the Viper versus somebody else, that we're at a state in our game where someone's kept it competitive.
And here we go. 17 pop-up from the Indians player. And on the other side, we got an 18 pop-up from the Khmer player.
Also, I would absolutely love it if at least one of these players is not who we've been saying. That would be shock.
Amazing. Yeah.
It would be a shock. Like, what if Admiral's been the Viper or Hera this entire time? That would really be the best hidden cup ever.
It's John the Fearless is actually Velez, just playing out of his mind.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, man. And imagine the disrespect. Like, no one's guessing other names. And they're just sitting back like, are you kidding me? Come on. I'm good too.
Okay, so dock opening for Vilo, and he's going to kind of wall that area off with a dock block and a house.
Okay. You can hop inside houses with Khmer, which is a nice bonus when the going gets crazy. And you know what? I think this is a demo opening, Dave. Because he just... How much does the demo cost?
Like 35, 45 gold and like 70 wooders. I'll check. You know what? That's what the Codecaster does. So I'll check. I'll get back to you on that one.
Well,
70 wood and 50 gold. That's a lot more than I thought.
Okay, well, he collected 10 gold there. Which made me think he wants to afford something. Now he's going to add the stable. I mean, we'll see scouts from both.
I don't know what they cost. I just know the sound they make when they go boom.
Oh my god. Get out, man. Get out. Well, there's a house for Evalio. Not pop capture or anything. Just prepping a house in case the scouts come in. You can hop right inside. And I guess that's just the respect that Evalio has for the enemy. As we see the scouts engage here. And we do also see Spearmen coming forward. Something that is not possible for Red. As the scout gets poked. And no barracks out there. But a galley will be on the way. So that's so he could make 2 galleys then.
Yeah, I wonder if he like garrisons this or if he lets it out right away. Because like we were speculating that this might be a GL player, and we were speculating that Pizarro might be a GL player based on the civs. And remember, Pizarro made a galley and just ran around with it and was pretty ineffective. So I'm wondering if Avilo is going to have a different strategy as the scouts are trying to bait villagers into attacking them at the berries.
Well, you know, again, it just brings me back to collecting that 10 gold. I think he's going to want 2 without committing to gold. But this is problematic when you can't make your own spearmen. Now, in the defensive, it's very tough, and these houses are not too close to the berries here. Villagers could definitely go down, but the confidence from Evalio as he sends the scouts forward, and we have crazy walls from John the Fearless.
Yep. Super walls from him. Scouts still roaming around. We could see the bonus of the Khmer there. When those scouts came in, he just hopped in the house. He's going to keep a scout garrison there. Maybe that's mind games for Vilo?
Maybe. Yeah, just
you don't know what's in my stable?
Yeah, making the opponent think about it. Interesting, we now see villagers go out to gold. It's so bold. Look at all the scouts here. And now you see the scouts finally engage, and man, they still haven't killed a villager yet.
Yeah, hops in the house, but on the other side, that walling villager from John the Fearless, it was kind of a fearless wall there, and he gets the villager picked off.
And
one
these
villager
villagers
did
also
go down
exposed.
on the wood line.
Okay, so both players needing defense. The spears seem there for John right now. Oh my! How? Game 7, villager saved.
Actually insane. There was 5 scouts there, and he's gonna manage to go to that weak wall at the last second and get that mining camp up.
But that's pretty and all, Dave, but this isn't. You know, you still are hopping inside of houses. You still don't have defense. You're not collecting resources as efficiently. As you see John the Fearless get the kills or hits with the Spearman, rather. Not too many kills in this game. It's actually just been 1-to-1 KD. But big thing I did mention, or I didn't mention, but showed, is the tower there on the wood line. Good move from John. Oh, yeah, and now John catching out the scouts.
He saw the dock. He's nervous about potential water pressure. And here come more scouts from Avilo. It's about to be a big engagement here, but John the Fearless peels off. And now Avilo can maybe shift his attention to that wood line from John the Fearless.
Yeah, I think.
Tough.
I mean, we've seen you've seen why Khmer was picked, that's for sure here. Look at this galley being microed here. The scouts might go in to try and finish that off, and should do so, Dave. As Bloodlines comes in for John. This is the John the Fearless of old, right? We don't know who the person is, but there's one player who used to love to make lots of scouts in Feudal, Dave. Who it might be, and this is a confident display here with that, but actually taking losses here as I say that. Armor too.
Villagers finally walling that wood line too, but that's so many scouts there for John the Fearless. And like you said, armor and bloodlines coming in. You can hop in the houses all you want, but
Blocking
not
his
if
own
you can't
villagers.
get to it.
He's blocking his own villagers right now. Big fights and big upgrades, and I think the upgrades might have just won John the game. What are we witnessing here? Look at these villagers, Dave.
It's going to be really tough for Avilo. It's going to be super tough, and he's YOLOing against it. I don't think he realizes armor and bloodlines is in.
And he calls it. John the Fearless does it after going down 2 games at the start of this best of 7. Who we think is the snake. Says, GG, good luck in te final. Wow.
Unbelievable pressure there from John the Fearless, and the presence of mind to get armor and bloodlines at the same time, and then just take that huge fight. Avilo was constantly hopping in houses. John was constantly putting on the pressure, and what a best of 7. Like, he definitely deserves to be through to the final after that.
Oh, definitely. And the mentality I brought up after game 1 or 2 that you have to come back when you get destroyed. But it felt like a final now, or there, excuse me. And we have a final coming up soon. And we still have the big reveal. We have our guesses. And if our guesses are correct, maybe, just maybe, Hera has finally, after so many big struggles against the Viper over the last year, done it in the biggest of moments, Dave.
What a performance. I mean, what more can you say about these two players? You saw the
So good.
quality. Every single game, you saw the quality. You saw the difference in styles as well. There was one player being more aggressive and one player being more defensive. And in the end of the day, what'd you say? Defense wins championships?
Well, it's ironic, though, because in this particular
switched it
game,
up. Yeah.
in this particular game, John the Fearless was actually more aggressive. Evalio could have gone for Franks and played a bit more open, played into Spearmen and Scouts. I just didn't. The commerce strategy was not totally convincing for me there. The galley was countered by one single tower. It was just clean as can be for John the Fearless. So many people out there might have their guesses, and we've all been speaking our minds for the last couple days. But what we can tell you is that coming up next is going to be the grand final. As far as that prize pool goes, this is what we're looking at, and this is coming back to community support. And to Juke, Iron Spark, you know what? I can't even say all the names. Thank you for gifting the subs. Thank you for the Prime subs. Thank you for supporting that prize pool. And I do have it on the player scene here. I'll show you what the prize pool split is like. Look at that prize pool right now. $82,000 in Age of Empires in 2021. And maybe a bad time to be a caster or something. That's a big chunk of change. But thank you guys. Up next will be a best of 7 final. We will take a short break. Remember, it will be live. Oh, wait, but I have to remember that you guys get to vote. Now, this is where, if you were a fan of a certain player, I really get to see if the community sticks by their picks. Because in some cases, if you think the Viper's out, but you're a big Viper fan, you might be in disbelief right now. So who is John the Fearless? I am all in on 3 here, people. I could see it being some other players in one series, but throughout the whole tournament, there's only one that comes to mind for me. Actually, the only one that apart from Hera is Leary. Hera or Leary right there. What in the world? What in the world? So Bonnie, Doctor, Lawler, the Legend. What in the world? Guys. I'm so confused. I'm so overwhelmed right now. Oh, the hype is real. What is God's name is happening? Ah! Oh my gosh. Holy moly. All right, well, people think it's Hera. Watching the YouTube video must be really confusing right now. I'm sorry in the future, YouTube, but if you could experience what's happening right now, thank you is all I can say. If you have a legend emote, use it. I can't even read chat currently. Can't even see votes right now. All right, vote. In between the gifted subs, vote. I don't have much else to say. We have to take a break before the players come in here. The games will be live, so we have to make sure they're in the game room and set. They'll do the draft, everything on screen. But just, yeah, thanks, guys. This is far surpassed my expectations in so many different ways, which I'll get to later on after the big reveal. Imagine if you showed up today to have some, epic conversation. I can't wait to show up and ask T90 this question. And then you've got this paragraph, that you've been waiting a couple weeks to ask me because you've been watching YouTube videos. Oh, yeah, let me just ping this over to T90, see if he can get a response into me.
Yeah,
All right.
You might want to make a big donation and put that question as the message.
That's true. I mean, at least I could see it.
This is how I sell out. This is how I sell out for you, bro.
Oh, well, thank you, Dave.
Another one?
I don't know what to say. It's extremely uncomfortable. I don't know what to say, but people are voting Viper. The people have spoken. They think that this is indeed the Viper who has won every single Hidden Cup, or that was indeed the Viper, past tense, because Evalio is out.